Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one Razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy?
What's wrong?
Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
It is a Toyota Tuesday here on The Morning Rush, and we've got a lot to talk about this morning. Arkansas baseball gets another top 10 win against the TCU Horned Frogs last night. Got a chance to talk with Eric Musselman yesterday about this upcoming Alabama game and just kind of what transpired this weekend against Texas A&M. Hey, an OU football player got in a bar fight recently and almost lost his eye. I'd like to ask you this morning, what former Razorback would you want to back you up in a brawl or a bar fight? Who would you trust to have your back if something like that happened? We'll also talk about the craziest thrill, the craziest thing you've ever been through. This could be a variety of different things. All that is coming up here on The Morning Rush. Again, it's a Toyota Tuesday here. Real excited to be with y'all this morning. HitThatLine.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, any of our ESPN Arkansas and other affiliates here. Just happy to be here this morning, coming off another big-time win for this Razorback baseball program.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of waited a little bit late to get the bats going in this game, but the pitching was great throughout as Arkansas takes down another top 10 team, beating number 10 TCU last night, 4-1. 3-0 start for the Hogs. I don't know that you can say, hey, this is a team that's going to make the College World Series based on what we saw this weekend. But, Ty, I think you know you have a team with enough pitching and enough hitting, even though they only scored 4 last night and what was it, 4 the night before, the 13 on game one. Mm-hmm. This is the team that I think is going to be right in the mix for being one of those top 8 national seeds. A lot of things have to fall your way, but this team clearly has enough talent to nationally be right in the mix of everything come June.
And I know that Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, we're going to have one of his colleagues, Mike Rooney, former Arizona State head coach, coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Kendall said that with Ole Miss having the outing they did this weekend in Arkansas, doing the same thing, it's going to be difficult for who they select as their number one team in college baseball. And Florida dropped, I want to say, I think Josh yesterday got at us on Twitter, they dropped 2 to Miami. So it's a little bit different, I think, to see how quickly Arkansas can move from the 8th best team in the country to number 1 after one weekend, but 3 top 10 wins definitely helps their cause if that was to happen.
Well, it sets you up well. Well, I think does it make the pitching situation even more difficult? We're going to probably see Wicklander and Connor Nolan later this week. You will listen to some of what Dave had to say after the game. You got a 4-game set if weather doesn't get any of it, and that's a big if right now because the forecast not perfect for baseball Thursday through Sunday. But we'll see. I mean, they have got so many options on who to start, who to relieve. I mean, that's the thing. And the middle relief, 4 different relievers last night combined. They go, I think, no hits, and they just back-to-back 2-hit ball games for the pitching staff for Arkansas.
Yeah, the pitching
and not against nobody. I mean, this is against top 10 teams are doing this.
Yeah, 16, 17 strikeouts. This is what Kendall Rogers had to say last night. Is that you can say about their pitching. Their 10th guy out there this weekend was Jackson Wiggins, was throwing 96, 98 with the nasty slider. It was like they were having tryouts or something. There were several guys last night. Kevin Kopps didn't have the best performance in Game 1, had a much better performance in Game 3, and that's just kind of what you have right now with this Arkansas pitching staff, and it's enjoyable to see that not only their bats woke up against Texas Tech and they woke up late last night against TCU, but they showed over the course of 3 games that they could do it in a variety of different ways.
Well, you got to outlast the other team seems to be the formula right now, and you were playing some great starting pitching, but once you got into the bullpen of Texas the night before and TCU last night, that's where you started scoring some runs. 2 runs in the 8th, 2 in the 9th last night for Arkansas, and that was all the scoring they need. 4 runs on 6 hits. You mentioned Kopps faced 8 batters, struck out 5. So it is very promising how good this team could be come June. But no reason to start writing the final chapters on any books after a weekend.
Yeah, because it's what I mentioned yesterday. There were so many people that were flabbergasted and scared after they dropped 3 last year in Texas, and now this year it's the complete opposite, where this team is – you've already put them in the College World Series championship, and it's just kind of hold the phones.
Pump
Dave
the
knows,
brakes.
But Dave knows that. I'm sure people are going to say, that, like you mentioned yesterday, if they were to drop one against SEMO this weekend, people would freak out, even though it's a 4-game series. And that's just how baseball this is why I enjoyed doing a show with Phil. Phil had to really hone in and just throttle this into my brain that you lose midweek games, you lose non-conference games, so you drop one in the series because it's a lot easier to do over the course of a 4-game series than it is just playing one game. That's just how it's different from basketball. It's different from football. It's if you don't understand it, it's a lot harder to grip on that. Not every loss is as pivotal as it is in basketball and football.
And the SEC schedule is going to provide you plenty of opportunity to make your resume. So you got SEMO, as you said, coming up. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would bet a lot of money they don't play all 4 of these. Or at least they may have to play some double headers. They generally don't do that on Sunday. But nonetheless, weather's going to be a challenge this weekend. You wonder how they'll set up their starting pitching based on that. And how do you go? I imagine that you try to keep the same starting rotation if you're pleased with that. And I don't know why you wouldn't be for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just because of the routine and the nature of how you go about things in baseball.
Nate wants to talk about how many Flow Sports subscriptions have been canceled. That's a
Don't forget to do that.
Yeah.
Or you'll be looking on your credit card bill a month from now saying, what in the world?
Is it 30? Was it $30 per month? Is that how, or was it just a one-time $30?
It was
payment?
a $30 per month. So you got to go back and cancel it. So
can you explain to me why ESPN or one of the other networks isn't down there? Like, what is the reasoning and rationale?
I can't explain it, but I would wonder how many people would have signed up for ESPN Plus had those games been available there.
For what, $4.99 a month? I think.
Here's my guess, and I don't know the answer to this, but my answer is this: all of the networks, whether it was the SEC network, whether it was the Big 12 doesn't have its own network, or all of these resources were already booked doing college basketball. Or if it's Fox Sports Southwest, you got the NBA. You got to remember, you had 3 games a day down there. You would essentially have to dedicate an entire cable channel or network to that event. And that's difficult to do this time of year when you're in the midst of the NBA and college basketball. A lot of those channels were booked for those type events. And
though in this market, a lot of you would much rather watch a college baseball game than an NBA game or college baseball game over pick another sport, it doesn't have the same national draw.
Very local, very regional.
It's growing, and that's something I want to talk with Mike Rudy about, D1 Baseball, who was the guy that picked Arkansas as his national champion in the D1 Baseball preseason predictions. But I do want to discuss with him, how can college baseball improve and continue to grow? And I think we've seen a growth increase over the years, especially here in Arkansas. Dave Van Horn has touched on that. But I want to know from his perspective nationally how college baseball can continue to grow. I can tell you personally, as a guy that didn't watch a lick of it growing up, I'm watching more of it, not just because of my job, but I do enjoy watching some more of the marquee teams and games.
All right, off and running on a Toyota Tuesday. Baseball, Arkansas with a big top 25 matchup in basketball tonight. Clay Henry at 7 o'clock. A lot going on this morning. We're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 on 549 in Springdale. Hey, they're ready for you with RV show pricing already underway. Talking with Lee J, they got more inventory already arriving and getting there on a weekly basis. So you can stop in to see the top brands like Grand Design, like Forest River, like Vibe, like Alliance, KZ, Sportsman. They have all of those at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale, it's Wheels RV.
Coming up in the program, we will answer the question, what former Razorback do you want backing you up in a bar fight?
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
So, you upgraded to the elevated ride of the 2021 Toyota Highlander.
New Highlander, Mr. D?
Yeah,
Figured it was time for something nicer, more refined.
Look at this thing. I mean, that moonroof is pretty sweet.
It's extremely stylish.
Now, that's not all. As you can see, it has leather seats, dual-zone climate control,
and comes with all the latest tech.
And Android Auto. Check out this 12.3-inch.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
To economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday, River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
At Franco Furniture for the month of February, Franco Furniture is ready to deal on cash or finance sales. Just come on in and tell us you heard this ad on ESPN 95.3 and receive huge discounts. Franco Furniture stands behind our furniture with service after the sale and carry as many made in the USA brands as possible. We are family owned and offer in-store no credit check financing. Franco Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
In sports, success is measured in points, wins, and trophies. At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us. and the occasional trophy, like the one from J.D. Power for highest customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central region. For J.D. Power 2019 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Ask shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Craig.
The pitch. He struck him out swinging, and the Razorbacks will get out of Texas with a perfect 3-0 record.
Follow us on Twitter at Ty Sports Radio and at Tommy Craft ESPN.
Got a couple calls and text already this morning, and we will get to those coming up. 877-377-6963. The question I posed to you this morning, we'll dive back in to Arkansas baseball and talk a little Arkansas basketball coming up. What player do you want backing you up in a bar fight? Got a bunch of text already, and we will get to those in just a sec.
Hey, we're brought to you by the Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence, your next gating project, anything to give you more security and more curb appeal for your home or your business. A new fence from the Fence Man is the way to go. They've been around for more than 40 years. The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access systems for your business. And they also have 18-month same-as-cash financing available as well. Hey, get all your questions answered. Get a quick, no-obligations quote. Call 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Want to first allow Ryan in Hot Springs to hop in on this conversation. Ryan, who do you want backing you up in a bar fight?
Dan Skipper.
Got a bunch of text in about Dan Skipper. I think that's a popular take this morning, Ryan.
Well, I'll tell you one. I'll give you one that's not so popular.
Go ahead.
We lose Ryan? I think his cell phone.
Jericho Nelson.
Oh, there he is.
Jericho Nelson. Okay, yeah, he delivered one of the best hits I've ever seen. Was that 2009 Auburn where he took that dude's helmet off?
Yes, sir. He hit the running back.
Mm-hmm.
Right through the middle. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, so did I see this correctly where Van Horn has never lost an opener?
I have not seen that in
on Twitter
in the media guides or anything.
That can't be right because they went 0-3 last year, right?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing that as a fact. I'm asking. So, because you know how stuff gets thrown out on Twitter. So I thought I would. Figured y'all would know. So.
I am not familiar with that, to be honest. So that is that's a question
Look
for.
that up, but are you talking about season? You're talking about season opener, right?
Yes, sir. Like opening game.
Gonna look that. All right, Tommy will look that up. Ryan, appreciate your call this morning, buddy.
Go ahead.
I
have one more thing.
Yeah, real quick.
Hey, I was going to tell you, I haven't finished watching it yet, but I do enjoy when you hop on there with RJ, bud, and I'm looking forward to with Clay, your interview on the progress.
Thank you. Trust in the process. I knew you were headed.
There you go.
Ryan, appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
There were some games on ahead. We think about those games last year with Oklahoma, Texas, and Baylor that they went 0-3. Those weren't the opening games. I had to remind myself of that. They did win their first game of the year last year against Eastern Illinois. So just backtracking a few years. The previous year, same thing, Eastern Illinois for the win, 15-7. Just going back a few years, beat Bucknell the year before. I can't go all the way back at this time and look up every opening game, but just the last 4 or 5 years, there has not been a loss. So that may be a correct stat, Ryan.
It could be. So we don't want to have the full answer for you. We'll get it by the end of the show. Got a bunch of texts here on this question again this morning. What Razorback would you want backing you up in the bar fight? The reason I asked this question on a Toyota Tuesday is because not only did JW call in yesterday and said he would back me up, he'd have to go Semper Fi on someone if we got into a fight, but also because Oklahoma wide receiver Spencer Jones got into a little brawl earlier. So that is at Logie's on the corner in Oklahoma, and Spencer Jones is a backup wide receiver for the Sooners, and he did not realize that he was talking you-know-what to a guy that was trained in wrestling and mixed martial arts, and he almost lost his eye because it got a little gruesome there in that bathroom of all places, and for whatever reason, I've never seen a fight in a bathroom, but they often occur in a bar because sometimes drinking leads to escalation like that. I am not a mean drunk. I am a sleepy drunk, so luckily I've never had to worry about that. But there have been a bunch of people that have chimed in. We got a bunch of texts that we're going to get to. First, want to welcome in Hunter in Cave City, Arkansas. Hunter, let me tell you something about Cave City. The best watermelons in the entire state, maybe the country, man.
I was going to say the world.
Maybe the world, that too.
Yeah, Clay brought me one summer before last, and that's the best watermelon I'd ever had.
My brother, Hunter, used to sell them every summer, and they would be gone. He'd have an entire truckload full, and they'd be gone in a day. A day.
That is so awesome. Y'all made my morning. I married a family from this area, and I didn't eat watermelon until I was 25 years old, and now we eat them. I probably spend $500 a summer just on watermelon. But this area up here, these farmers, it's just it's so nice to have so many good people around here to grow stuff that it seems like everybody I know loves them.
Yeah, they're great. So if you, if you had a bar fight you had to deal with, who you taking with you?
I've never called into this show, but when I heard this question, there's no doubt who I'd like for y'all to know. It's Peyton Hillis.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
I don't even think you have to fight if he's around. You just mention his name.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up, Hunter. So there's someone I know that when he went to school at Arkansas, they were at a party or whatever, and they're just doing boxing downstairs. I don't know, for whatever reason, and he was like, "Oh, you're about to fight this guy," and it was a true freshman running back at the time from Conway, Arkansas. It was Mr. Peyton Hillis, and he got destroyed. So that Peyton's one of those guys that you do not want to mess with, whether it's now, whether it's 15 years ago. You need to stay away from making him mad because it's not going to end up well for you.
Dang right. Hey, y'all, I appreciate you. God bless. Have a great day.
Thank you, Hunter.
You too, Hunter. First-time caller. Love those people, especially when we get to talk about the great watermelons of Cave City. Legitimately, Tommy can attest to this. I can attest to this. I know some of us that are listening right now that have had a Cave City watermelon can also agree with this statement. It's the best watermelon you will ever have in your entire life.
There might be some people from Southwest Arkansas that would say the ones from Hope are, but we have a good selection in our state. Okay, that's one of the great things about summer. The watermelons from Cave City or Hope and the tomatoes from Warren. They grow them right here.
Two things that grow out of Warren, Arkansas, tomatoes and great football players. Mark Jones, ESPN. I loved when he said that on the broadcast because he could not be more on the money. All right, coming up in the program, we got some quickening headlines to get to. We'll come back to this Arkansas baseball win against TCU last night. Did get a chance to talk with Eric Musselman yesterday, Jalen Tate, just kind of their thoughts on the Alabama game that lies ahead. It's going to be a fun basketball game moving forward.
Unless someday you can beat Alabama, you might as well just be kissing your sister.
On the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
The best deals on hot tubs and endless pools in Fort Smith and Northwest Arkansas is at Burton Pools and Spas. Achieve your health and wellness goals in 2021 with a fantasy spa starting at just $28.95 with 28 selections to choose from. Or the endless pool fitness systems. They give you boundless fitness with swimming year-round. Delivered, installed, and ready to use from Burton Pools and Spas. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Northwest Arkansas. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Hi, I'm Bill Bolton of NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins. I started in this business in 1972 at an auction house that specialized in antique and estate jewelry, sterling silver, and coins. In that time, I've seen gold go from $35 an ounce to today's price of $1,683. I want to talk to you about the coins you may have inherited and how important it is to deal with someone who understands coins and this market. In 2011, we had a mother and daughter come into our store and sell us a lot of jewelry they no longer wore for $3,300. The daughter then pulled out an 1850 California $10 gold piece. Jeremy offered her $900 and she accepted his offer. He then advised her to have this coin graded. She did, and she sold it for $36,000. If you don't know what you have, please come see Jeremy in our Bentonville store. Don't sell it in an auction or an estate sale and get less money. What's in your safety deposit box could be worth thousands. NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins, Bentonville, Fayetteville.
Happy New Year from the Paint Store in Van Buren. If you are already thinking about that painting project for 2021, get by and see Sue at the Paint Store in Van Buren. She'll help walk you through the maze of colors that are out there and then store that color you select for that bedroom, bathroom, master suite project you have coming up. The Paint Store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren, or call Sue if you've done business there before, 474-4505. The Paint Store in Van Buren. Happy New Year from the Paint Store in Van Buren. Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, make sure you choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. That means you are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at Bush Tractor. They're located at 7301 South 0 Street in Fort Smith, or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
There's an old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Hi, this is Scott at Calico County. 2021 is here, and no doubt a lot has changed in the last year. But something that has stayed the same is Calico County's award-winning food. Great portions that are fresh and always cooked from scratch. Something that we have changed is improved curbside service for those of you that don't want to fight the crowds. And of course, we will never change those great cinnamon rolls that everyone loves. So for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, it's Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue, behind Randall Ford.
What's new at the Golf Nut? Ping G425 woods, hybrids, and irons, along with the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls. Keep your game sharp on the TrackMan and Foresight indoor simulation base. Make sure you call ahead for an appointment. The Golf Nut has a great selection of shoes, apparel, and accessories in stock. Everything you need to complete your game. As always, don't forget to check Facebook for daily specials. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, and I want to help you get a great deal on a great car. So I'm making it easy with prices up to $3,113 below retail on the best selection of Rath road-ready vehicles we've had in months. These are late-model, low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs that have been hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. You just can't buy a better pre-owned vehicle. And right now, you can save with prices up to $3,113 below retail. If you're waiting on your tax refund, my TaxMax program can help with that by getting you access to your money now. Worried about your credit? Don't be. My For the People credit approval process can get you approved and driving your nicer, newer car today. If you're not in the market right now, let us take care of the car you have in our Meineke Car Care Center, the home of half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Don't wait. Get the nicer, newer car you want today and save up to $3,113 at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Drops it in to Sarr. Sarr from midcourt. Pass stolen away by Davis to the other end. Arkansas wins the game.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Got some quick and neat headlines to get to on the Morning Rush. Also want to talk about what the Arkansas basketball team is thinking right now. You got a top 10 team in Alabama coming in, number 1 team in the Southeastern Conference. How are they feeling about this game? That's coming up.
Brought to you by Arts Barbecue and Burgers, one of mine and Ty's favorite places to go have lunch or dinner. The Kickin' Chicken. I know it's barbecue and burgers, but the Kickin' Chicken's another item on their menu that I find ourselves talking about a lot because that's what I order a lot. It is fried chicken breast. They dice it up, and then they toss it in this secret spicy Kickin' Chicken sauce that is just phenomenal. You can get their smoky baked beans with it. You can get those hand-cut fries, those homemade onion rings that they do right there to go right along the side of that Kickin' Chicken, and it is awesome. So I know they got great ribs. I know they got great brisket, and their pulled pork is off the charts good. Their catfish is awesome, but I'm telling you, if you want something a little bit different, and the great thing about Arts is there's something on the menu for everyone, whether it's the wife wants a salad, you want ribs, and the kids want a burger, or, there's just a great variety on the menu outside of barbecue. The Kickin' Chicken is one of those great entrees that you might not have tried yet. Arts Barbecue and Burgers, Waiter app will bring it to you. Call ahead, 452-2550 for drive-through service or curbside to go as well. That's Arts Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
The Arkansas Razorbacks check in at number 20 in the latest AP and coaches poll. You were hoping for to get in the top 20. You knew. Now if you win the Alabama game this week in top 10, LSU not being ranked but still a quadrant 1 opponent, that's going to elevate you even more. The Arkansas women's basketball team checked in at 16 in the AP poll this week. So your basketball programs right now really having some success both in the top 20. It's fun to see both these teams. Last time both of them were ranked in the top 25 was the 2014-2015 season. And there's a lot of promise with these basketball programs moving forward heading into postseason play.
Yep, and you just, basketball is all about the postseason, as we know. So this feels like the year maybe you could have both of these teams around for the Sweet 16 Elite 8 round, the second weekend of the tournament, and how much fun that's going to be watching both of these teams, getting your family and your friends together, almost trying to put those words together, and enjoying that this year. So that's going to be a lot of fun this year. Watching March Madness unfold with both teams.
Yeah,
because that's what it's all. You can have a great regular season, but if you don't do well in the tournament, it's always a letdown.
Speaking of polls, Arkansas baseball is number 6, and this was announced yesterday on Monday in Baseball America's poll. They're still figuring out what they're going to do with D1 Baseball's poll. You could find yourself in the top 5, maybe top 3. I would think top 5, maybe even top 3. Heck, Kendall Rogers might even put you, and his staff might even put you at number 1. On the women's side of things, softball got 2 wins this weekend over UTSA. They're the 25th best team in the country. So there's a lot of sports right now that you can look to as not at the pinnacle of their profession, the pinnacle of their sport, but you got a lot of top 25 teams that you can look forward to right now.
Yep, and that's the benefit of playing in this league, particularly down the road. You're gonna have that chance to play the best teams, right? So should be fun.
It's going to keep on coming for a variety of different teams. Did you see who Gus hired as his new OC and quarterbacks coach?
I just know it wasn't Chad Morris.
Can you say G? Jay Key? Am I saying it right? He was
I don't think you're saying it right.
Okay. He was an analyst at Arkansas under Morris. He's
G.J. Kinney.
Yeah. Kind of your thoughts on
Well,
that.
I mean, how much of an offensive coordinator does Gus need when he has already declared, I'm calling the plays, I'm never giving it back again? So Gus only has a $3.3 million coach's salary pool. He doesn't need to spend a lot of money paying someone, in this case, what would it be? Probably $600,000 or $700,000 to get you a good offensive coordinator at a non-Power 5 level.
Mm-hmm.
Why spend, big money to do that when he needs, a great coordinator on the defensive side? He got Herb Hand to come with him. That's what that's where he needs to put his money, because he's going to run the offense.
Yeah. Tremaine Carroll, who was here at Arkansas strength conditioning coach, has been hired at Kansas State. Found that interesting yesterday. Some NBA news. Doc Rivers said to Philadelphia media that he's going to give Isaiah Joe a shot at the rotation now ahead of Korkmaz. I can't think of Korkmaz's first name. I just know that's his last name. But it's cool to see Isaiah. I know Mason's got some significant minutes this year based on what happened with the James Harden trade and stuff like that. Now it looks like Isaiah is going to get more an extensive look to see what he can give the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, fun to watch these two guys be not just on a roster with a team, but being a factor in what's going on. So getting significant minutes and making a difference, that's fun to watch. And I haven't watched 76ers basketball, and I haven't watched enough of it this year, just, with everything going on, watching Arkansas and being out at games and such. But that's going to be fun when kind of things slow down with high school basketball, and you can kind of watch a little more NBA, and you got a couple of choices now with Houston and Philadelphia that you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pro Football Talk is reporting that the NFL is very optimistic about stadiums being full this fall. I saw that UCF had sold the majority of their seats, and I know that Hunter Yurachek has been on this program, talked to media, that they're anticipating full stadiums this fall. Is that something we should expect in 2021, or is that something that you're just...
I guess I think that's optimistic. Now, if the NFL can have full stadiums, then college football is going to have full stadiums. That only makes sense to me. If one is, the other will as well. So it's all going to be about vaccination. And is that the key to giving the public enough confidence to come back, and the health authorities, if you will, the confidence to clear these events and these venues for larger capacities? 100% seems optimistic, but Lord knows we all need something returning to normal by then. Yeah. Can you get enough of the public vaccinated? It has not been at a fast enough pace to this point to make me believe come August or September we will be there.
Last headline for you this morning. 41 years ago today, Bobby Knight threw the chair.
Fred Jasper's now chasing Bobby Knight back to his chair.
And
he's got him right there. There's the tee.
Technical against the bench and against Bob Knight. Steve Reed, an excellent free throw shooter, will have the honors shooting the technicals.
Look at here. Bobby Knight just threw his chair clear across the free throw lane.
And I think Fred
Unbelievable. He picked up another tee.
One of the more memorable moments in college basketball history. Now, back in the day, could you get as many technicals as...
No, I think it was three back then.
Three back in the day.
Three technicals. I think
wow.
That event right there might have been the reason it changed to two. But, back then it took three technicals before you were ejected.
That's unbelievable. I can't imagine refs and the NCAA, the National Basketball Association, giving coaches enough wiggle room to have two different outbursts in a game and still not be thrown out. Wow.
Throw a chair once, and that'll get you thrown out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you burn through. It's kind of like a cat with 9 lives. You throw a chair, and you'd already ripped through a couple there, but a chair throwing incident will get you gone immediately. So, and I don't think anyone's ever done that again. No, they probably. Knight was on a different level than everybody else.
Nolan walked off the court, but then came back. I remember the great story that Matt Zimmerman told on the Hog Pod about that, how they had to go get him. I'm trying to think if there's a moment with him or Eddie Sutton or Pelfrey or Heath or Mike or something like that happened. Am I missing something that was just
not a chair
crazy?
Being thrown, no.
Yeah,
Nolan would get his technicals. No, Nolan would get hot about things. I mean, Muss is as fiery as I've seen. We've seen Muss ejected from the Missouri game this year. Now, nothing like a chair was thrown or anything, but he's as fiery a coach as we've seen here.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan didn't get thrown out of a lot of games in my memory, but it's interesting to see how the game has evolved and things like what Bobby Knight did back then. I don't say chair throwing was commonplace, but those kind of outbursts were more commonplace.
I guess that's how it is. All right, we asked this question earlier, and it's gotten a ton of responses. I got 20-something texts that I still need to get to read. By the way, JT in Hot Springs says that's another reason why Bobby Knight is a legend. I got a chance to meet Coach Knight at an Arkansas basketball game he was on called for, and he is as an intimidating a guy as it gets. I asked him, and this is back when I was doing a student radio show. I was like, Coach, would you have a problem if we interviewed for you for 5 minutes? And he just looks at me and goes, I don't do phone interviews. And it was about as intimidating as a 2-second conversation as I've ever had.
He's got those dark, steely eyes and just kind of stares a hole through you,
My brother was a practice player for Jimmy Dykes at Arkansas, and they had a walkthrough with Coach Knight, and Coach Knight was cussing and saying things to girls, and as he would have to the guys too, but he just said it was very, very intense. He would be a guy that you'd want to have your back in a bar fight with, whether he's right now, he'd still have that old man strength, or back in the day when he was just as gruesome and intense looking as he is now. Danny, who is the former Razorback that you would want backing you up in a bar fight?
Well, if your nickname is the Thumper, I got to give it to Wayne Harris. Of course, a lot of people don't know who he is. You need to be a little bit older, but he was legendary as the hitter of all hitters. And a little comment about watermelons. I have pictures with my grandpa with 2 100-pound watermelons.
Wow.
Grown up here on Crow Mountain, which is around here, with the best around here. And they're huge, So just one comment, a question before I get off here. Were all 3 teams in the tournament? They were all in the top 20, right?
Top
10. Are you talking about baseball?
Well, Arkansas
Baseball,
played
yeah.
3 top 10 teams, and Ole Miss and Mississippi State were both top 10, right?
We looked this up yesterday. Every team, and of course, baseball has a lot of polls, but yes, all 6 teams were in the top 10.
So good start for the Hogs, but the SEC's loaded. So guys, have a good day.
Yeah,
Danny, we appreciate your call, buddy.
That's a great point. We made that same point yesterday, that all this shows you with the way that Ole Miss and Mississippi State played is the SEC West, and you've still got LSU to contend with. Ole Miss is picked to win it. The SEC West is going to be wild this year, and you travel to both Mississippi schools this year. You play at Ole Miss and at Duty Noble in Starkville this year. So not going to be easy to win the SEC West in baseball.
No, it is not, and it never is.
That may be harder than winning the national championship, honestly.
Phil, when he was first starting doing a show here, he tried to convince me that the SEC baseball schedule was more difficult than SEC football, and I didn't have a great grasp of what SEC baseball is. Still don't as much as Phil does, and I don't know if I necessarily laughed in his face, but I said there's no way. And then you start actually paying attention to certain things, and you realize that Phil is right on the money when it comes to that comparison. All right, we've got a bunch of text in here that we want to get to this morning. Who is the Razorback, the former, current, past, whatever, that you want backing you up in a bar fight? And the reason we're asking this question this morning is because OU's Spencer Jones, who's backup wide receiver, got in a bar fight in a Norman bar, and also because JW in London called in yesterday and said he would have my back in a bar fight. Well, here's some of the responses that we've gotten this morning. Dennison Van Buren and Stephen Tulsa both agree that Dan Skipper is up there on the list. Now, Dan Skipper was notorious for practice fights that got a little the little chippiness. And I enjoy when offensive and defensive linemen get at it. And you never want to see anyone injured, but in practice, Dan Skipper loved to ruffle the feathers of defensive linemen. He'd be laughing and smiling. In fact, when he was a New England Patriot, him and Michael Bennett, I don't know where Michael's playing now, got into it a little bit, and Bennett was mad, and Skipper just flashed him the birds and was just ticking him off even more. Sometimes guys' antics can get under other skin, and Dan's definitely a guy.
Well,
plus, it being 6'10",
6'10",
that helps too.
You're not gonna get very many black eyes at 6'10".
Nope.
No one's gonna break your nose very often at 6'10".
We've got Skyler and others chiming in saying Mark Pierce played fullback at Arkansas.
He was a tough dude.
How good would you feel about Mark having your back?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have the frame. He didn't have the framework of a Dan Skipper, but who does? But he was a guy that he's just crazy. He just go for it. So yeah, that'd be a guy. Unfortunately, had some off the field issues after his playing career. So yeah, I mean, Mark Pierce would be definitely somebody you'd want to put on that list.
Another guy that you'd like to put on this list. This comes from Greg, BA, and Conway, and then Chris, Tony Bua. Tony Bua and we've gotten a chance to have Tony on this show. Tony is a great interview, has a lot of fun. Tony Bua is definitely up there for a lot of different Razorback fans.
Brett Good texted me a minute ago and said Sasha Lancaster. That was the only 2 words he had in the text. Sasha Lancaster. We've had a few other texts about that. Dan Hampton's a name that keeps coming up. So those are some guys you'd want on your team, not the other team if the bar fight broke out.
We got a chance to talk with former Razorback Jake Beckett on Friday. That's who Flash and Clinton Van Buren would want having their back in a bar fight. Jake is an intimidating guy, and he, especially as an Army Ranger, I just kind of
We talked with you mentioned he was on last week. You just think about what makes him tough, being a football player, playing in the NFL, or being an Army Ranger. You put all those together, and that's a guy I want on my team.
Got Ken Hamlin, Fred Talley, some names. Colin in Glenwood chimes in. He says Jamario Bell. That's a good one. Played basketball one time with Jamario with the hyper. That's something I will not be doing again because it was quite intimidating. Rob says Steve Atwater. Now, I feel like Steve's, as much as he hit people on the field, he comes across.
He's a hard-hitting safety, but is he the guy you want when it's time to tangle?
He doesn't come across as a mean guy off the field. He comes maybe I'm misreading that. But he's got a mean streak in him somewhere. Yeah, we got a chance to talk with Steve at some point this past summer, and it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Had some really good people. You mentioned
I think we talked, wasn't it? It was around the Hall of Fame announcement, I believe, is when we talked to him.
Exactly right. Mongo, like you said Dan Hampton. Now, Andy Hodges has told me some stories about Dan Hampton. That's about as tough a Razorback as it gets, Mr. Dan Hampton.
Yeah, one of the handful you've got that are in the NFL Hall of Fame. So.
Now, I don't understand this text. Lee doesn't want Darren McFadden backing him up because he broke his toe in that bar fight. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I would not want to see what the other guy looked like after the brawl broke out between Darren and
you remember that story, though, don't you?
Yeah, didn't he tell it on this?
I don't remember if he told it in one of our chats with him, but he broke it because he kicked a curb, concrete curb, and that's how he broke his toe. And I mean, you thought the world was going to end when it came to that. Was one of the biggest stories around Razorback football is Darren McFadden's broken toe and kicking the curb. So
JB in Benville says Jonathan Marshall. Tommy, I think we saw some physical toughness from Jonathan this past year where he's getting. Listen, if it's 4-on-2, if it's you and Jonathan versus, he can take 3 of them, and as long as you can handle the other guy, you're good, because that's what he was doing all football season long.
Another one along that line, we just got a text from the 479. Kiero Small is a great choice. Shouldn't have taken this long to get there. Any dude that breaks that number of face masks running into defenders, running through defenders, and he's still a strength and conditioning coach, so he's somebody I definitely want.
I want to say it was a Texas A&M game where he just paved the way for Broderick Green, if I remember that correct, and Green just fell into the end zone because of how gaping the hole was that day.
I'm just still amazed at the stories when Kiero was playing about the number of broken face masks.
Just decimated. Now, was that in practice, too, or just in...
He broke some in games, but I think there was like 7. Clay may remember when we have him. He broke like 7 different face masks in practice. Yeah.
Jeez.
You didn't want to be on the scout team that year.
Yeah. This kind of is the Steve Atwater. Well, this guy, no one's doubting his toughness. Frank Ragnow, Austin Allen came on this very program and told us the story of when Frank played with a broken foot, and we heard about the broken throat. Frank doesn't come across as the guy off the field that has an angry streak about him. Maybe I'm misreading that.
Oh, these linemen are gentle giants a lot of times.
That's what I thought.
But when the helmet goes on, it usually their demeanor changes.
JR says Grant Morgan. Would you take either of the Morgan brothers?
Any of those linebackers are, you got to have a little bit of crazy in you to play linebacker, right? So you want a guy with a little bit of crazy in him. So that's another good choice. So.
Jeremy brings up, I think, the first coach that we've had on, and Tommy and I were discussing this a little earlier in the program, not just players but coach. He says Nolan Richardson. You think about the iconic quote about the bear, and Nolan would be a guy that definitely ranks high up there when it comes to someone that is you want with you, not against you.
Better help the bear, right?
Yeah.
That was always the phrase. Nolan in his day, you wouldn't. he had the bluff in on all his players. They were afraid of him because they were afraid he might take them down in practice. So he had his bluff in on how tough he was for sure.
Jamie says Corliss Williamson. We've got a lot of football players to this point, but occasionally here and there we'll get a basketball player. Sean and Rogers says Billy Ray Smith Sr., not junior, but senior. You think that would be a good one?
That's before my time. I'll just have to go with you on that one.
Just go with it.
I mean, junior's a lot before my time, but senior definitely before my time.
Jonathan for Percy says big old Carlos Hall. What about Carlos Hall?
Yeah, he'd be a good one. The block and the rock. So, I just had a name and I just lost it. But yeah, Carlos Hall would be a good one. So.
Pigheaded chimes in. He says Dennis Dirt Winston. I know that's more of a Clay Henry one. I think he would definitely agree or at least have something to say about Dennis Winston.
Another one that's not quite from that same era. Go back a little further, and I bet this is the name Clay will bring up. Lloyd Phillips. We were just talking about the late great Lloyd Phillips a couple of weeks ago at his passing. He was a guy that was just a man amongst boys always. He's just always the biggest guy around.
JB chimes in and says Roosevelt Wallace. That's who he thinks this morning. And you meant it seems like we've gotten the most, I think, reply has been Sasha Lancaster, Peyton Hillis. Joe in Fayetteville, Tommy says Pat Beverly. What do you think about Pat Beverly?
Wouldn't he be a little undersized in a throwdown? I'm not saying he's not mean enough. I'm just saying.
What's the old says? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Maybe.
That's what I always. Yeah. That's what I always say when I enter a.
Yeah, well, that's you trying to have a pep rally within yourself.
Yeah, you gotta get yourself
talking yourself up.
You gotta get yourself.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get yourself when you're the smaller guy, and oftentimes Patrick is the smaller guy when whoever he faces. He doesn't mind taking out anyone. Alan and Alma chimes in. Tommy, Darnell Robinson is his pick.
Good basketball pick. Yeah,
that's a good one. JB in Benville chimes in and says Bobby Portis. Yeah, Bobby being 6'10", being from Little Rock, that would be someone that you definitely
long arms.
Yeah, would want having your back.
Reach, you'd have the reach on you. So.
I remember watching his Hall basketball team. They ran this 1-2-2 or 2-2-1 half court press, and him and some of the other guards that he played. It was one of the most intimidating high school basketball teams I'd ever watched.
Yeah, they were. That was as good a. I think them and Parkview that year was good. Jonesboro was really good. I remember watching the state tournament that year was nearby where we're at down in Greenwood and got to see him play several times. So
Dennis in Springdale says Corey Beck. That's another name that we've yet to mention to this point. I think Corey that was kind of his persona that really was pushed and pulled from his head coach, Nolan Richardson, and then passed along to the rest of his teammates, Clint McDaniel, and so many others on that basketball team.
All right, Clay Henry coming up, and he'll join the conversation. We'll talk about the baseball game last night and tomorrow night's basketball matchup between ranked Alabama and Arkansas. It's been 1998 since two ranked teams squared off at Bud Walton in a men's basketball game. Hey, we're brought to you by World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. 2-year price guarantee when you move to DISH. You get the Hopper 3, record up to 16 of your favorite shows at once. You get all your favorite sports channels, movie channels for free for the first 90 days. You're going to love it. And a 2-year price guarantee plus a $100 Visa gift card. Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH for World of Wireless.
All right, coming up in the program, we'll talk a little Arkansas basketball as well. Hour number 2 is on the way. Don't go anywhere.
It's time to say goodbye to contacts, glasses, or bifocals with LASIK or clear lens exchange by Volvision in Northwest Arkansas. Mention ESPN for $500 off your LASIK or clear lens exchange procedure. A quick 15-minute procedure, easy 24-hour recovery no matter your age. Freedom from contacts and glasses is an option for you. Volvision, the official eye care providers of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Go Hogs!
RV Show pricing is arriving early at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV wants to invite you to skip the lines and the crowds this year and shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. And with a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and a mobile service shuttle, owning a new RV has never been easier. RV Show pricing beginning now at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At any of the Clay Maxey companies, it's just an easy, customer-centered experience. We wanted to make it a one-stop shop, so we added Kawasaki and Can-Am and Hustler and Worldline. It's really been a nice add for us. We provide full service. We're doing pickup and delivery. We were able to add the Vexus line, which is a premier bass boat line. We want to make it easy. We want you to visit us at any of the Clay Maxey companies. Clay Maxey Ford and Harrison, Berryville, Motorsports, Marine, or Clay Maxey NWA.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer. Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays, signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
At Franco Furniture for the month of February, Franco Furniture is ready to deal on cash or finance sales. Just come on in and tell us you heard this ad on ESPN 95.3 and receive huge discounts. Franco Furniture stands behind our furniture with service after the sale and carry as many made-in-the-USA brands as possible. We are family-owned and offer in-store no-credit check financing. Franco Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Fitness will always be about keeping a routine. And the best routines in life will always make time for enjoying yourself. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor.
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told ya. Bud Light Seltzer. Unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you invest in real estate only to find out that real estate takes up too much of your time? If you answered yes, then it's time to make a call to the experts. With more than 30 years of combined property management experience and more than 16,000 units managed, Trinity Multifamily are the ones to call. Get your life back. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Hey, Grounds Guys.
Hey, what?
Can you get rid of these weeds in my yard?
You betcha. The Grounds Guys 6-step weed and feed service will eliminate those unsightly weeds, keeping your lawn green and pristine all year long. Mention this ad and get your first application for 50% off, and you'll notice the results right away. Call 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-GUYS. Or go to groundsguys.com for all your lawn care needs in Northwest Arkansas and the Fort Smith area. The Grounds Guys. Leave the yard work to us.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunshine today, our high this afternoon into the upper 60s. Tonight, partly cloudy and overnight low right around 40. We're back to sunny skies for Wednesday. Our high will be in the mid-50s north, low 60s south, and back to sunshine on Thursday. Temperatures will be cooler. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Shop local, eat local, be local. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by The Fenceman. For custom-built fences, gates, and controlled access systems, call The Fenceman at 479-782-3936. The Fenceman, he ain't afraid of no work.
We're going to get everything we've got. We've been putting in everything we've got this entire week to the fans. We're going to try to go out there and give you guys the top 10 win. You know, be the loudest fans that everybody knows you guys are. Every team in the conference and in the country knows what Bud Walton brings. So, you know, show out.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
.com.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
Okay. That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy? What's wrong? Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hour number 2 of The Morning Rush. Got some Arkansas basketball stuff to get into. Got a chance to speak with Eric Musselman and Jalen Tate yesterday. We'll recap the Arkansas baseball win over TCU coming up, and also dive back into the bar fight conversation. What former Razorback would you like to back you up? We've got over 50 responses already this morning.
I'm already amazed. I mean, some of these conversations, you don't really know how they're going to go till you have them, and then you have one like this that, you know, we'll see how it goes. And it's the response from the audience has been unbelievable this morning. The volume of the response.
It keeps on, and it keeps on coming. So we will definitely come back to that later in the program here on The Morning Rush.
All right, Clay Henry, in just a moment, let me tell you about River City Bistro, one of our favorite local restaurants, local ownership. If you want a great deli sandwich, you know, a great Reuben, you can build your own sandwich. They do their own house-roasted meats right there, whether it's the corned beef, the turkey, the ham. It's a great Pittsburgh-style deli. But there's so much more on the menu as well. But that's what you'll find. That's the base of what they do at River City Bistro. We love them because you can find a great salad if that's what you want. The soup is one of my favorites there. There's a great variety and a great selection of soups you can enjoy, particularly this time of the year. And they got great appetizers. On the weekend, they got a great brunch. So a lot of reasons to check out River City Bistro. 7320 Rogers Avenue. Again, locally owned. You'll find Michelle and Bruce there, and they're going to make sure your experience is great. You can order online at rcbistro.com. That's River City Bistro in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Let's welcome in the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, Clay Henry. And, Clay, some of your colleagues at Whole Hog Sports had some good research. This is the first top 20 matchup in Bud Walton Arena since 1998. It's the 1 seed in the SEC versus the tied for 2nd seed right now. Arkansas has an opportunity here to really showcase themselves to not just the SEC, but college basketball. But when you hear that stat, it's so odd to think about that there hasn't been a top 20 matchup inside of Bud Walton since 1998, Clay.
Well, that's partly the SEC's state. There was a number of years there where you had Kentucky, not very many others. You know, maybe Florida, there was, you know, a stretch where they were really good and ranked. Won a couple of national championships, but there hadn't been much of anything else. And, you know, then you throw in the factor that Arkansas wasn't ranked in a lot of those years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes sense. Yep. You can say the same thing about football, right? It's been a long time since there's been a top 10 matchup or top 20 matchup in Razorback Stadium in football. And you just, those are the two sports that have underachieved, and that's why Jeff Long is in Kansas.
Yeah. And it's still, to me, all about coaching. You go back then, and you got to have the other side. You got to have dance partners here to have a top 25 matchup.
That's right.
But, and Arkansas has been ranked since 98, but, we were talking about the matchup, and you made a great point that the SEC put no emphasis on basketball for a while. But this also gives me, I guess, more confirmation or affirmation that you're headed in the right direction with coaching. College sports, college basketball, college football, still about finding your leader, about finding your coach. And this, to me, just is another indicator. It's not the only thing you're looking at, but another indicator, hey, you got the right guy running the program.
Yeah, this is another benefit of the SEC network. When you look around the SEC and you see the coaches that are there, and I think we all go back and everybody points to the hiring of someone from the Big East, and we're going to talk seriously about basketball now. Well, what really happened is there was some extra money from football, and they spent it in basketball. And that's what happened is they suddenly had $500,000 more per coach in the SEC for salary. And it was the access to money that really elevated basketball. And it's been so much fun to watch. You just wished Arkansas had been a part of that upgrade. I mean, and it didn't happen for a long time. Now, there was some flashes in Mike Anderson's time, but so sadly you compared Mike Anderson to Nolan Richardson, and that didn't measure. And now Eric Musselman gets that chance to see if he can feed the monster. So far, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
It's weird that Alabama basketball is the number 1 seed in the Southeastern Conference. It's the rich getting richer. Like, you're tired enough of that football program and Nick Saban, what they're doing. It kind of reminded me when I learned Bradley Cooper could sing. He's a good-looking guy. He can act.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have a voice now too. And
in addition to your other talents,
you can sing. Well, we know about Alabama's now their baseball program sucks, but even though I think they have the best pitcher in the SEC, I say that, but
they were picked last though in the West.
Yeah, it's staggering to me to think what you mentioned, what Eric Musselman is doing in year number 2 at Arkansas. Nate Oates in year number 2. They actually have similar track records. I was looking at this yesterday, and now Muss has a plethora of NBA experience and international experience, but Nate Oates spent 4 years at Buffalo, had a lot of high major success there, and then is now in year 2 at Alabama. Muss was 4 years at Nevada. Now, again, he's got 10 years on Oates, but that's still 4 years, and then coming to an SEC school. They both won their conference championships. They both won regular seasons, and now they're getting to compete on Wednesday night, which, again, is a pivotal game, not just for Arkansas, but for Alabama, because if Alabama wins on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, the 1 seed, it's done. They've locked it up. Now there's a 5% chance that they lose the last 4 games, 2% chance, 1% chance, whatever it may be.
You're being gracious,
but that's it. Mathematically, the conversation is over if they beat Arkansas.
No, they're the regular
Their
season
schedule
team.
is really weak
after
this.
Yeah.
They would have to lose another game, and I don't see any more losses on their schedule after going to Bud Walton. What's interesting to me is these two coaches come from vastly different backgrounds. You mentioned Buffalo, but Nate Oates was a high school coach. Eric Musselman was an NBA coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just they came from the opposite ends of the spectrum, and they both can really coach.
Yeah, and I wonder how long he will stay at Bama, not because he can't have success at Bama, but do you want to live in the shadow of that football program if you're the head coach at Bama? That's always going to be a challenge for that university is – do you have a coach that wants to be at a university where your basketball program's more on an even footing with your football program? It'll never be that way as long as Saban's at the University of Alabama.
I've heard that explained 2 ways, Tommy. You're right. Do you want
I don't know how he feels
all
about
the adulation? Yeah, to be on you for 12 months? Or do you want it to, like Greg Marshall had it at Wichita for a while. I mean, there wasn't anything else. But there's some, Eddie Sutton told me he wanted to be strong football in the offseason to be obscure and then everybody talking about football. I never had thought about that, but there's some coaches that helps them.
Yeah. All right, Bruce Stanton's going to join the conversation from Pradco. We'll talk about SEC basketball and the stretch race. We're brought to you by Natural State Laboratories. Hey, if you need to get a COVID-19 test, you need it today. Natural State Laboratories is doing tests between 8 and 1 today at Community Bible Church at 9201 Dallas Street in Fort Smith. The best thing is they have their own labs, and they'll get you the result tomorrow. So no waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 days to find out if your test is positive or negative. Bring your driver's license, your insurance card, no out-of-pocket expense. Today from 8 to 1, Community Bible Church, 9201 Dallas Street in Fort Smith with Natural State Laboratories.
Stay with us. Still a lot to talk about in hour number 2 of the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
So, you upgraded to the elevated ride of the 2021 Toyota Highlander.
New Highlander, Mr. D?
Yeah, figured it was time for something nicer, more refined.
Look at this thing. I mean, that moonroof is pretty sweet.
It's extremely stylish.
Now, that's not all. As you can see, it has leather seats, dual-zone climate control.
And comes with all the latest tech.
And Android Auto. Check out this 12.3-inch touchscreen. Great for navigation, hands-free communication, music.
Awesome.
The Highlander also has loads of space and even a third-row seat.
Did I see 5 USB ports?
You sure did, buddy.
Perfect place for your daughter's new boyfriend.
This is so embarrassing.
Elevate every ride in the new 2021 Highlander.
Get $1,500 customer cash, or qualified lessees can lease a new 2021 Highlander L for only $279 a month for 36 months with $29.99 due at signing. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability. Visit buyatoyota.com for details. Offers available in select states and 3/1/21.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
Brr, it's cold, but winter is actually a good time to paint that room you've been meaning to get to. This is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren, and I would love to help you with a great color selection from Richards Paint. Need to do some outdoor painting? The paint store's low temp application product from Richards is usable down to 35 degrees. Experience our 30 plus years of expert friendly advice that you can't get at a national brand store. The paint store in Van Buren, 1414 Fayetteville Road.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week. both on the heated patio and the cozy dining room. River City Bistro is locally owned and open weekdays 11 to 8, Saturdays 10 to 8, and Sundays 10 to 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
1-0 pitch. Swung on, belted. High, deep right field, long run. Austin Todd over his head and out of here! Into the bullpen, a 3-run line drive home run by Brady Slavens.
Video streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube.
The only thing that I watch on Facebook is the Morning Rush. That's it.
Got some SEC basketball to get to coming up here on the Morning Rush. We'll also talk about Arkansas's win 4-1 over the TCU Horned Frogs last night. Gets 3 top wins in Arlington, Texas this week. And as we welcome in Bruce Stanton and Pradco Fish. And Bruce, appreciate the gift this morning, man. You're giving out late Christmas gifts in February.
Well, that's stuff you can only get on lurenet.com from our paint shop collection. So it's lures like Bandit, Rackets, Smithwick Rogues, Rebel Pop-Rs, and they're in unique colors that you can only buy on lurenet.com. So if you're a lure freak and you like having cool colors and get them in a cool website, go to lurenet.com and you can get cool things like this.
Well, we
Clay, I'm
appreciate
sorry
it.
you didn't get one, but maybe
I'm
Tommy will mail you one of these.
Yeah. I'm just brokenhearted. Tommy's going to bring me some, right?
I can bring you. I will be up soon, so I will bring you one.
Oh,
So,
thank you, Bruce. You guys got some cool stuff. That's all I can say. You really do.
So SEC basketball right now, is we were talking about it a little bit. Alabama's still used to dominating the football landscape, and yet now they're sitting at number 1. Still some really good teams right behind them, including the Razorbacks, Tennessee, LSU. There's some others. And I know Jay Billis of ESPN got asked the question earlier, I think it was either this week or last week, hey, who can beat Gonzaga and Baylor, the undefeated teams in college basketball? And he listed off a few like Michigan and some others. Is there an SEC team, guys, right now that you can see competing for a national championship? Is that the only one that we could say at this point?
I think Missouri could make a run. I don't think they can compete for a national championship, but Alabama's the one. They hit you so hard with their guards from 3. They can play a full court game. They're well coached. They've got a good mix of young players and, one of my favorite players, John Petty, who can knock it down from 3. When he gets hot, man, he can fill it up, and he's a leader. One of the, I guess, only 5 stars that Alabama got to help build this team, and they stayed 4 years. I mean, I think anymore when you can get those 4-year players, look at what Missouri's done. They're the oldest team, I think, in the NCAA. And, when they've got all their players, they're full-grown men. They're out there playing full-court basketball for 40 minutes. And I like Missouri, but to me, Alabama's the only one that could really make a national championship run. Now, you look at LSU and their young talent. You look at Arkansas, what they're doing. Could they be around the second weekend? Yeah. I mean, and if you make the Sweet 16, you get the right matchup, can you win another game or two?
Yeah.
I mean, when you see teams like Loyola Chicago and George Mason make it, it just makes you think, well, maybe the SEC could have a couple teams make a deep run.
We were talking right before the break, before you joined the conversation, about Nate Oates, and just finding your coach is so much the obvious key in college athletics and in college basketball. And we were just talking, Nate Oates, does he like and enjoy the spot at Alabama where you're always going to be in the shadow of that football program, at least as long as Nick Saban is there, and probably for several years after that? That's always going to be the focus. Or at some point, will he take the success at Alabama and go to a place where basketball's a little more on an even footing? Tennessee, a school that's close to you, kind of struggles with the same thing. Alabama's always going to struggle with that, and I think it's interesting because I think Nate Oates is clearly identified as one of the top young coaching talents. I don't know how young he is anymore, but up-and-coming coaching talents in the game. And, what will be his appetite for looking at a more high-profile opportunity, after this season, next season, somewhere down the line?
Well, the appetite got a lot more expensive. I think he's got about a $10 million buyout he has to pay if he leaves Alabama. So, I think other schools have proven they'll pay your buyouts. But to sign through 2027 and then to have a huge buyout for you to go somewhere else, I think that says he's going to stay at Alabama. I think a lot of times coaches want to write their own history. They want to make a mark where it hadn't been made. And, you look at Alabama historically. C.M. Newton ran a good program there. Wimp Sanderson ran a good program there. But, Alabama's one of those SEC schools that's never been to a Final Four in basketball. And I think he's probably look at the roster. Alabama basketball was probably underrated nationally. A lot of good players come out of the state of Alabama. So if he can recruit Alabama and win with Alabama kids, kind of like they do in football, dominate regional recruiting, national recruiting, and live on Alabama kids, I think it's a good place. Now, you look at Coleman, it is one of the older gyms in the SEC, one that has kind of got left behind in all the modern gyms that have been built, even some of the smaller ones like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Auburn. So I don't know if they're going to have some type of basketball campaign to, get a little more modern facility. Maybe they like playing in an aircraft hangar. But that's kind of what Coleman looks like.
It's always been just a place to bring the football recruits. When we had February's national signing, that's just what you did with basketball, right? It was, you had Saturday home games so the football team could bring their recruits over. So
it definitely does look like an aircraft hangar, but it is antiquated, and it's like a big high school gym. The stands go up on the sidelines, and they go forever. And there's only about 15 rows in the end zone. I mean, it's just not what you would – it looks like an old field house that they decide, okay, we can put a basketball court in here and play. And it doesn't have any ambiance or anything that would lead you to think, well, this is a place where great basketball players are going to come. The good news is that they have unlimited funds right now because of football at Alabama. And Nick Saban's got everything that you could ever imagine, so he's not going to be jealous that they're skimming off millions off the top to put into basketball. And like you say, he wants basketball to be good for recruiting weekends.
Right.
Tommy, there's people up on the White River that have nicer hangars for their little airplanes than Alabama's got for their basketball stadium.
Some of them have two.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you think about what Auburn has done, and I would imagine if Alabama was going to build something, they're going to build it just enough to be bigger and better than Auburn, absolutely. But something along that line as far as size, the pavilion at Oxford. I don't know how many schools in this league have the appetite for something like Thompson Bowling, Bud Walton, Rupp Arena that's, 18, 19, 20,000 seats. I don't think Alabama has an appetite for that, but they probably look at what happened down on the plains, what happened in Oxford, and say, we got to get on par with. If we want to be competitive long term, keep a great coach, you're going to have a facility that's on par with what else is in your state and in your conference.
Well, it's like anything else now. You'll build it smaller, but you'll have a lot of amenities like luxury boxes. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So didn't Alabama now? Am I remembering? Didn't they build a new baseball park just 3 or 4 years ago? Because they played in Birmingham at the minor league park.
They raised the old facility and built it exactly where where that facility was. So they had to leave for a year, and it was almost death for their program. They might as well have suspended baseball because of COVID, like Texas A&M has for basketball. They might as well just. I mean, it was drudgery. I mean, that was an hour drive if they wanted to have a practice in their baseball facility, much less a game.
Jeez Louise. Yeah. Hey, you brought up something, and Bruce, Clay, I want your take on this. Tommy brought this up. You think Texas A&M cancels the rest of their season? I mean, they've postponed 6 games, including the game they were supposed to play tonight against Kentucky. Is there any chance that Sankey says, hey, y'all are just done this year, Buzz Williams and them just bow out? Is there any scenario where y'all see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that's a surprise anymore to me. It's just like you get up and read the paper or go online and there's something that I would have never imagined that's just happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a chance.
I mean, you're got to realize
there's a chance you could get married, Ty. I don't think it's going to happen.
You got to think about the COVID or the COVID timelines and the protocols for COVID. If you have players in quarantine, enough of your team and program in quarantine, the calendar is just going to run you out of the end of the season. I mean, right now, yes, you could play that date on March 6th, but the end of the regular season is what, March 2nd or whatever, the middle of that week, March 3rd. At some point, just the calendar is going to say, well, there's no time to play any more games if you continue to be in the protocols that apparently A&M is dealing with. That's what I see is just the calendar gets you. Perhaps, but 6 games they've cost a lot of teams home games and cost themselves some home games, obviously.
So we were talking about the Southwest Conference days yesterday with Arkansas playing 3 Southwest Conference schools in baseball these last couple days, and they used to pack out Reunion Arena, and now it's going to be a little different this year. There's not going to be 20,000-30,000 Kentucky fans that make their way to Nashville, but I think about the importance of that tournament as Arkansas and so many other SEC teams get closer and closer to the end of their regular season. Alabama's, for all intents and purposes, have locked up the 1 seed. Arkansas looks like they're going to get a top 4 seed, 2, 3, or 4, depending on what shakes out between them, LSU, Tennessee, and then I think Missouri's in the 5th slot right now, if I remember that right. When you look at the postseason play in the SEC tournament, Bruce, how important is it for one of those teams to just win it for their seeding purposes? Bama's pretty much set in stone, but what would that do for the likes of Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU if they won the SEC tournament?
First of all, Alabama, they need to win to get a number 1 seed. So I think you're going to see a big effort from Alabama to win. And frankly, they don't win a lot of SEC championships in basketball, so I think they're going to be highly motivated. But yeah, I think, Tennessee's probably an 8 or 9 right now. Missouri's probably a little better. LSU's probably down there with them. Those 3 teams probably really need an SEC tournament win so they won't get, blown out in the first or second round by a big opponent. Arkansas, I think you're going to find out against Alabama and LSU this week at home if they can win both those games or split. I think it's going to elevate them nationally, and they're going to be up in the teens, maybe mid-teens, even if they lose one of them next week when the rankings come out. So I don't think it's as important for them to win the tournament, but those other 3, especially LSU, it just seems like they haven't got any traction in the polls. And I was down on them early, but man, they can score. That's the thing about them, that they can fill it up, but. Or is that going to win you a tournament when you kind of one-dimensional?
Don't play defense.
Yeah, this seems like an important week. If you want to be a 5 seed, you need to win at least one or maybe both this week. This is a big week for seeding, whether you're going to be 5, 6, or 7 perhaps. And Lenardi had in his last one, Arkansas on the 6 line. So, I mean, this feels like a week. If you could win 2, maybe you bump yourself up a notch. It feels to me like you got to almost run the table and win the SEC tournament, or at least get to the final to be in the mix for a 4. But Arkansas is playing themselves in that direction. This feels like an important week, guys. If you want to improve your seeding, here's your best chance to do it is this week.
Just don't play into a 5, because 12s always seem to win against a 5 every year in the NCAA tournament. So that's the one you don't want. But yeah, I mean, if you can get up to a 3, 4, 5 and avoid playing a dominant team for at least a couple of games, that's what you need to make that deep run.
Clay, what do you think if Arkansas – now I don't think anyone anticipates them to win the next – let's see, they have 3 scheduled regular season games. They're going to get one next Saturday, so that's 4. And then they would play 3 games. I don't think anyone expects Arkansas to win their next 7 games. So in your best estimation, in your opinion – what do you think the highest ceiling is for Arkansas seeding-wise? What do you think they can get to in the eyes of the NCAA selection committee?
First of all, let me give you my thoughts on the SEC tournament. It's something that you should not spend your energy on. I know everybody's go win a tournament. Well, the worst thing you can do is go over there and play 3 or 4 games and completely exhaust your team by playing back to back to back. And be beat up for the NCAA tournament. And I'll guarantee you, Nate Oates is thinking, let's win 1 game and let's get home. The same thing goes on with the SEC baseball tournament. If you get to the championship game, well, then you want to win it. Obviously, if you're not a team that has a bid in your hand going into the tournament, that changes things. But it's you want to. You want to help yourself, but I do not think the selection committee does a lot with those conference tournaments. I think they have their seedings already set. They've got their bracket filled out. This is a unique year in that they're not worried about regional settings. Everybody's going to Indiana. Everybody says they're going to Indianapolis. That's not true. They're going to be scattered around the state. But it is a misnomer to say that it's important to do well at the SEC tournament. I don't think it matters. And the way I view it, it's surely just a little bit of entertainment on the weekend. And I don't spend a lot of time thinking, well, this is good or this is bad, because I think it's somewhere in between. I think the selection committee is not changing their mind on very many teams based on the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for a team that's a 5 or a 6 going into that tournament. I'm talking about conference seed, to play their way maybe into the tournament. But I'm with you. What you've done for the regular season to put yourself in a position to be 1, 2, 3, or 4 in this league should be enough to put you in the tournament. So I've always said in baseball, and maybe it applies in basketball this year, tournament ought to be for teams 5 through 12. The bottom 2 aren't getting in anyway. So take them out. Let 5 through 12 play an 8-team tournament. 1 through 4 are exempted. You don't have to play because you're already in the postseason. But that's not a very popular idea with the league office when they're trying to sell tickets and get TV ratings.
Well, Kentucky's going to take this tournament real serious, and they might win this thing.
Yeah.
And 3 others, and have 4 teams there. Call it the Final 4. Yeah. And as long as you brought Kentucky, I mean, just put Kentucky in every year. Just doesn't matter where they finish, if they're first or they're 6th or 7th like they are this year. Let them come, because they'll then you would have the money. They're going to sell it out, and then pick the next 3 teams and just call it the SEC Final 4.
That's to me that's more effective. But clearly, if you're the Nashville Chamber of Commerce or your ESPN SEC network, you probably got a different opinion on that. All right, Bruce Stanton with us, Pradco Fishing here with us. He joins us every Tuesday. We were talking earlier before you arrived. OU had as a wide receiver, backup wide receiver, Spencer Jones got in a bar fight, nearly lost an eye in this bar fight. So it made us think, who are some former Razorbacks that, hey, if the bar fight breaks out, this guy I want on my team? You got any names that come to mind that, hey, this is the guy I don't want to go against?
Well, I got to create the whole scene. I mean, when we talked about that, I said I would not. I love Barry Lunny Jr., but I would not want him to be the guy to bail me out of a bar fight.
There's not many quarterbacks going to make this list. No.
But I'm thinking, first just for eye appeal, someone, because I get a little mouthy when I watch Tennessee games. If I just someone to have my back and not talk. Jason Peters is probably one.
That's a good
I think a lot of people would see Jason Peters and just walk the other way. It's like, especially Jason, don't shower after the game. Just, remember you didn't play in the Eagles Super Bowl run. Just get him a little mad. I don't think anybody messed with him.
Get him riled up.
And this might be surprising, but based on his role in the NBA, I think Joe Klein, Joe would enjoy maybe roughing it up with some people.
You're not going to knock him down.
And throwing a few elbows. No, you're not going to knock him down. And, I think those two on either side. And then I'll throw kind of a wild card in, and again, I'm a Fort Smith old timer, but and we didn't get to see him live his whole life, unfortunately.
Exactly who you're getting ready to
but
say.
Shannon Wright, and I love Shannon, and a lot of people here in Razorback Nation love Shannon, but I think he would have relished the role of helping one of us out if we got in a little bar fight, and I think he'd done real well at it. He probably wore a cowboy hat and looked the part.
Yep, and drove his Jeep to the fight. So, but yeah, I grew up around Shannon. We kind of lived in the same neighborhood, and that was a name I had written down earlier. A guy you did not want to mess with. So,
yeah, take linebackers with you.
Yeah.
That's a good starting plan because they got an aggressive mindset. They really do. It's just they
and his was on another level.
The good Lord put them together differently upstairs than everybody else.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Well, it's good to see Pradco fishing. I know this past week weather has not been ideal, obviously, for folks to get out, but we're going to be pushing 70 today in some parts of the state. Going to be a great day to maybe get out and enjoy it before we get some freezing rain. And lurenet.com, a great place to go to find all this great stuff. And you brought us some goodies this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and water's still real cold right now. If you can choose between rainbow trout, brown trout, and bass, I definitely err on the trout side. If you just want to get out and catch some fish, go below Beaver, wade the tailwater on the White River, Bull Shoals, Norfolk, go down to Broken Bow, wade the tail race down there. You can catch a lot of trout right now. Bass, this warm weather will help bring them up on main lake points. You can throw that rogue out there. The water's real cold. You need to be real slow, and you're bringing it back maybe 10, 20 seconds between pauses once you get it down to about 8-10 feet. So you can't just rip it when the water's cold like this. But then bass will start biting here in a little bit.
I was driving over to Shawnee, Oklahoma on Saturday, and you follow and you cross it there. Was frozen over enough there was still snow across that back part of that cove there as you kind of drive across I-40. So that might be something we never see again, is the way the river has frozen up in spots, or at least had big ice sheets on it.
Yeah, the funny thing is it's a good time to have a casting competition. You can throw that Zara spook out, and it'll almost spool your line. It'll just slide across the ice.
Yeah. All right, Pradco, made right here in Arkansas. Find them all online at lurenet.com or pick them up at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, and tackle stores all over the place. Look for that Pradco name and all the great brands. 20 different brands with Pradco, right?
That's right. Go to lurenet.com and see them all.
All right. Bruce, good to see you. We'll see you next Tuesday.
See y'all.
All right, Bruce Stanton with Pradco Fishing. It will be a great day, guys, to get out and enjoy it, because I think, by Thursday or Friday, we're going to have a little return of some 40-degree weather, maybe a little freezing rain. So
let me get this right. Yesterday you brought barbecue food in for everybody, and today Bruce brings in not just lures, but specialty lures.
Hand-painted lures, yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Working from home doesn't always have its benefits, Clay. You miss out on barbecue and fishing lures. So
yeah.
Hey, we can take these lures and enjoy some of the fishing on the tailwaters of the Bull Shoals Dam at Gaston's White River Resort. Ty's dad's headed up there. His family's going to enjoy some time.
Yep.
And great time to be at Gaston's. And even if you're not fishing, it's just hey, that's not your hobby, but you like getting away. Hey, you're looking for a place to work remotely for a few days or whatever. Gaston's is a great choice. Maybe your spring and summer vacation plans have changed. Gaston's is a great place, and all of their lodging, all of their cabins, all of it's individual and private. Many have their own fireplace and their own kitchen. So if cooking's one of the things you enjoy while you're away, hey, it's set up perfectly for that. They have a great restaurant that overlooks the White River, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you'll find gourmet meals there that can't be beat, and the view is awesome of the White River. But, of course, fishing on the White River is the star of the show, so be sure and get with one of their great guides that can really show you what it is all about at Gaston's. 40% off with winter rates when you stay 2 or more nights right now at Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
The best deals on hot tubs and endless pools in Fort Smith and Northwest Arkansas is at Burton Pools and Spas. Achieve your health and wellness goals in 2021 with a fantasy spa starting at just $28.95 with 28 selections to choose from. Or the endless pool fitness systems. They give you boundless fitness with swimming year-round. Delivered, installed, and ready to use from Burton Pools and Spas. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Northwest Arkansas. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ugh, nothing's worse than starting trouble. We can help you out. We can start with a free battery test. That way we'll know if your battery is causing the issue. It could be your starter or your alternator. You don't want to waste money on the wrong fix. And if you do need a new battery, we've got you covered with a wide selection of replacement batteries. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination. Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2019. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
RV Show pricing is arriving early at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV wants to invite you to skip the lines and the crowds this year and shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. And with a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and a mobile service shuttle, owning a new RV has never been easier. RV Show pricing beginning now at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, and I want to help you get a great deal on a great car. So I'm making it easy with prices up to $3,113 below retail on the best selection of Rath road-ready vehicles we've had in months. These are late-model, low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs that have been hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. You just can't buy a better pre-owned vehicle. And right now, you can save with prices up to $3,113 below retail. If you're waiting on your tax refund, my TaxMax program can help with that by getting you access to your money now. Worried about your credit? Don't be. My For the People credit approval process can get you approved and driving your nicer, newer car today. If you're not in the market right now, let us take care of the car you have in our Meineke Car Care Center, the home of half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Don't wait. Get the nicer, newer car you want today and save up to $3,113 at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
What's new with the Golf Nut? Paying G425 woods, hybrids, and irons, along with the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls. Keep your game sharp on the TrackMan and Foresight indoor simulation base. Make sure you call ahead for an appointment. The Golf Nut has a great selection of shoes, apparel, and accessories in stock. Everything you need to complete your game. As always, don't forget to check Facebook for daily specials. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
They say, trust the process. But if enjoyment isn't part of that process, don't trust the process. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
New Bud Light Seltzer?
Yep.
A hard seltzer with a hint of fruit flavor.
Yep.
Can I try one?
Yep.
That tastes great.
Told ya. Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beers, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning. Your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
A chicken wing is just a flavor missile covered in awesomeness. And at Buffalo Wild Wings, we're locked and loaded with 26 sauces and seasonings aimed right at your face. So whether you're gearing up for the sweet tang of honey barbecue, Magma Hot Blazing Carolina Reaper, or new zesty lemon pepper sauce, get ready, because your mouth's in the blast zone. 26 sauces and seasonings at Buffalo Wild Wings.
This is Mike Atchley with Atchley Air. Did you know we've been serving customers like you since 1958? For our 63rd birthday, Carrier gave us a free furnace. We decided to pay it forward by giving the furnace away along with a brand new high-efficiency air conditioner. For your chance to win, go to AtchleyAir.com. One lucky homeowner will win a high-efficiency system valued at nearly $9,000, and there's no cost to you. Don't wait to enter. The drawing will be held on February the 25th.
AtchleyAir.com. At Frankrow Furniture for the month of February, Frankrow Furniture is ready to deal on cash or finance sales. Just come on in and tell us you heard this ad on ESPN 95.3 and receive huge discounts. Frankrow Furniture stands behind our furniture with service after the sale and carry as many made-in-the-USA brands as possible. We are family-owned and offer in-store no-credit check financing. Frankrow Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Moses out of there with it. Ahead to Davis. Davis all the way to the other end. Lays it in.
Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
Really popular topic of conversation this morning has been on what Razorback player would you like surrounding and backing you up in a bar fight. And we'll come back to this conversation, let Clay get his 2 cents on it coming up here, and take your calls and text at 877-377-6963.
One of the first texts we got this morning was from our buddy Brett Good, who suggested Sasha Lancaster was the one you should check out and put on your team for that deal if a bar fight breaks out. Brett's going to be with us tomorrow morning. He'll be here about 7:15. We'll get some thoughts from him, the former Razorback and Super Bowl champion. He's now part of the winning team at Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions. If you're the person in charge of employee benefits where you work, health insurance, staffing management solutions, or just the insurance part, commercial or personal insurance. Maybe you're driving around right now and your homeowner's insurance and your automobile insurance is too high. Brett can help you with that personally, commercial, or the employee benefits. 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292 for Brett Good with Henderson Phillips Employer Solutions.
I want to first welcome in Patrick in Cedarville this morning. Patrick, before you ask your baseball question, what former Razorback would you want backing you up in a bar fight?
Well, I kind of like, oh boy, I got to look up previous Arkansas players to answer that one. But one that speaks out at me would be like just one of the first basemen, I believe. Whoever's the first baseman last year.
First baseman last year. You're talking about, is that Trevor Ezell? Good or Clay, you help me out with this?
Yeah, Trevor Ezell was the first baseman. Yeah, that's a little guy. No, I think
Trevor Ezell.
Yeah, you'd want somebody like an Andy Wilkins, first baseman, a big guy. But I'm not sure. Hey, baseball guys, that's not who I take to a fight.
And also,
unless they bring their bats.
Yeah.
And also, guys, I have a quick question about this year's team. Who do you like out of the roster this year, and what can we expect when they play the University of Oklahoma in May at Baumgartner Stadium?
Patrick, appreciate the call, buddy. Clay, I'll let you kind of answer that. I mean, I think the high expectation, you just beat 3 top-10 teams in Arlington, Texas, and I mean, I don't know how much you have to take away from those 3 games. What are you taking away from this roster so far early on?
Yeah, I think that they've really got a lot of talent, and this is a mouthful, but somebody with a lot of experience in college baseball tells me that Dave Van Horn is recruiting at the level of Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart in football. That's the way he's recruiting in baseball. Now, you tell me where that puts you. It puts you in the College World Series in a lot of years.
Yeah.
And they went down there to 3 really, really good Big 12 teams and rolled through them. I mean, they what they've got is pitching depth that gives you the ability to shut teams down in the late innings, and that's how you win college baseball. They scored 4 runs in the last 2 innings last night to beat TCU. They scored 5 in the 9th inning to beat Texas Tech in that first game. The sky's the limit for these guys. Now, a lot of things have to play out, but they've got depth in that they didn't even pitch 2 of their best pitchers this weekend, Patrick Wicklander and Connor Nolan. And there's nothing wrong with those guys. But they got outpitched in the fall and so far in January by some really talented young guys.
Yeah.
The guy that just fascinates me is Jackson Wiggins, who's a freshman from down there by you guys rolling. And he came in and threw 98 and then threw a slider for strikes.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Schlossnagel from TCU says, looks like they're having tryouts over there.
It's a 9th or 10th guy off their bench, which is pretty crazy. And we just got some – Jenkins just showed me this. Arkansas on D1 Baseball's top 25 poll, and that's what the NCAA baseball uses, is second behind only the Ole Miss Rebels. So you bolted way up from the 8th best team in college baseball according to the NCAA and D1 Baseball. Now – you're listed at second.
Yeah. So where did some of those other teams from this weekend?
I see. Like you mentioned, Ole Miss 1, Arkansas 2. You're ahead of Vandy at 3. Mississippi State is at number 5. Florida lost 2 of 3 opening weekend to Miami. They are down to 7. Texas Tech, who was number 3, I believe, when you beat them, dropped all the way to 10.
Yeah, they
no
went
Texas
0-3.
and no TCU.
Yep.
Yeah.
This tweet just shows the top 10. So.
Texas Tech feels how Arkansas did a year ago after leaving the deal in Houston. So they went in with much higher expectations and got their tail between their legs. And Patrick also asked about that Oklahoma game. That's March the 16th at Baum Walker. So if you're wondering about that date or when that game is, March 16th, they'll play the Sooners.
And SEMO this weekend starting on Thursday. I was looking at the weather keeps changing for this week. Initially, it looked like it was supposed to rain on Friday. Now it's got the sun. I'm really hoping for Arkansas baseball fans out there that are making their first appearance in Baum Walker Stadium that the rain will come early this week and be clean and cloudless and sunny the rest of the weekend. But we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like Arkansas weather has just been kind of sporadic these last couple of days.
Thursday and Friday, Saturday look okay, Sunday. So maybe you play a doubleheader if Sunday's rain forecast. But like I said, it changes so much. You were going to have freezing rain at one point, but now you got highs in the 50s in Fayetteville. So going to be 61 according to what's on my phone on Saturday. So might see a doubleheader one of those days if the rain gets a little more certain in the forecast. That would not surprise me.
Nate brings up, he says, don't get the cart before the head or before the horse, guys. Great weekend, but a long season ahead. And,
absolutely.
Nate, you're exactly right. We discussed this with the SEC slate for men's baseball being as dominant as it is. Arkansas's got a lot to prove in conference play, and Dave Van Horn knows that. The players know that. It is one of the most difficult conferences in any sport across the board. It's more difficult than SEC football. It's more difficult than SEC basketball. It is a trek every single season.
Baseball may be 1, women's basketball may be 2 as far as national competitiveness and difficulty just to win the regular season.
The good news is you don't have to win the regular season in the SEC. You don't even have to win the West. All you have to do is host regionals. And there may be 10, 12 SEC teams in NCAA regionals. There may be 6 or 7 that host this year based on what it looks like to me. And to get to Omaha, this may be the year where there's well over half the field from the SEC, and it will break the NCAA's heart for that to happen. They don't like that. But I'm telling you, this is a year where it looks like everybody in the SEC is a Class AA or Class AAA minor league team.
And we've seen them set the bracket up before where the super regionals line up where SEC teams play each other. To try to keep that from happening, because there's been years where the Southeastern Conference has had 4. I think the year Arkansas went in 0-4, the first time with Dave, they had 4 different SEC schools there. So they being the NCAA and the rest of college baseball don't really like it. They don't like that SEC champ.
If Mike Bianco, and by the way, Ole Miss baseball is now going by Dirty Mike and the boys. I don't know why they would want to be associated with the guys from the other guys, but that's what they're going by now. If they want to come to Baum Walker again in the Super Regional, be my guest. We'll gladly have you. We'll gladly host you again and send you home crying. 877-377-6963. Mike Rooney of D1 Baseball on the other side of the break.
Hi, I'm Bill Bolton of NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins. I started in this business in 1972 at an auction house that specialized in antique and estate jewelry, sterling silver, and coins. In that time, I've seen gold go from $35 an ounce to today's price of $1,683. I want to talk to you about the coins you may have inherited and how important it is to deal with someone who understands coins and this market. In 2011, we had a mother and daughter come into our store and sell us a lot of jewelry they no longer wore for $3,300. The daughter then pulled out an 1850 California $10 gold piece. Jeremy offered her $900 and she accepted his offer. He then advised her to have this coin graded. She did, and she sold it for $36,000. If you don't know what you have, please come see Jeremy in our Bentonville store. Don't sell at an auction or an estate sale and get less money. What's in your safety deposit box could be worth thousands. NWA Gold, Silver, and Coins, Bentonville, Fayetteville.
Gary is refinancing his home, so he shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please. Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Did you know that you can get your car serviced or repaired without ever leaving your house? All you have to do is call Jody's Auto Service Center at 479-649-3399. Jody's will pick up your vehicle, service or repair it for you, and return it fully disinfected to your driveway. Pickup and delivery is free for jobs $75 or more. Jobs less than $75 can be picked up and returned for a $10 fee. Let Jody's Auto Service Centers handle all your service and vehicle repair needs. Call 479-649-3399. Jody's Auto Service Center.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth.
sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price, where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Divorce is never easy. Many times problems continue to arise long after the divorce is over. If you're dealing with a high conflict custody or visitation issue, you need an attorney that handles those specific type of cases. Call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners for immediate assistance with your situation. Kevin Hickey Law Partners, able to handle high conflict custody cases all over the state of Arkansas and other states. Check out kevinhickeylaw.com or call 479-434-2414 in Fort Smith and 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunshine today, our high this afternoon into the upper 60s. Tonight, partly cloudy and overnight low right around 40. We're back to sunny skies for Wednesday. Our high will be in the mid-50s north, low 60s south, and back to sunshine on Thursday. Temperatures will be cooler. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
We're going to get everything we've got. We've been putting in everything we've got this entire week to the fans. We're going to try to go out there and give you guys the top 10 win. You know, be the loudest fans that everybody knows you guys are. Every team in the conference and in the country knows what Bud Walton brings. So, you know, show out.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
There's a lot of lions, tigers, and bears, but there ain't but one razorback. Number one.
This is The Morning Rush.
Borderline erotic.
With Ty Richardson.
Okay. That's cool. I can dig it.
And Tommy Kraft.
Do I look happy?
What's wrong?
Lloyd!
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hour number 3 of the Morning Rush. Heard Jalen Tate at the top of the open talking about how excited he is for you and this basketball team getting to play Alabama on Wednesday. We'll talk more Arkansas basketball coming up. We'll answer the bar fight question that we've been having this morning, and then we'll be welcomed in by Mike Rooney of D1 Baseball coming up in just a sec.
All right, so we'll talk to Mike in just a moment. We're brought to you by NWA Gold and Silver in Bentonville, Fayetteville, and in Fort Smith. Have you got gold or silver coins, at broken jewelry that you're not wearing anymore, those silver items that are in a china hutch that'll never be used again? Take them to NWA Gold and Silver, find out what they're worth, and let them put cash in your hand today. That's NWA Gold and Silver, 1130 North Walton in Bentonville. You'll find them in Nelson's Crossing by Jason's Deli in Fayetteville and on Rogers Avenue just west of Central Mall in Fort Smith. NWA Gold and Silver, the people that pay the most.
Mike, appreciate your time this morning. I know a lot of Arkansas fans really liked hearing that you were coming on because you were the lone guy on the D1 baseball staff that picked the Razorbacks to be your national champion in 2021. And I know that Kendall's picked them before, and I know there's some other people out there in the college baseball circuit that think the Razorbacks have a good chance. But from your opinion and perspective, why do you think Arkansas has a good shot to win the national championship?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I mean, first of all, I just didn't want to pick Florida, right? Like, that just felt so – I was so tired of that. And they are very good, obviously. You know, like, they're going to have something to say about the national title. But I think the things I love about Arkansas's team, and it's things that I don't like, it's things that I actually love, is, you know, they're so good up the middle. And it's offensively and defensively. I think, you know, Robert Moore, or hashtag Bob Moore, as we like to tease him and call him, you know, I think he's an All-American caliber player. Christian Franklin in center field, Casey Opitz. You know, you think about Arkansas, and you had 4 kids that were 4 position players that were first-team preseason All-SEC. I mean, that's kind of unheard of in a league with that kind of depth of talent. And then, you know, the pitching staff was concerning. because Collar Noland and Patrick Wicklander, not to run those kids down, but they've struggled in the rotation, and in the fall, I just felt very concerned about what is the rotation going to look like for Arkansas. And I think where I got some clarity is, in the preseason, starting hearing, DVH talk about, hey, I'm not certain Noland and Wicklander are in our rotation anymore. Maybe they've gotten beaten out. And I think the model for me right now is, if you go way back, 2013, Mississippi State's team played in the CWS finals with a very uncertain rotation and an elite bullpen. And I think that's who Arkansas will end up being. I think this bullpen is going to be suffocating. And if they can just find 3 kids that can give them 4 or 5 innings on the front end, they're going to be just fine.
Mike, you're a former coach. What is attractable about Dave Van Horn as the head coach of the University of Arkansas?
Yeah, I think his track record is off the charts. I mean, the guy is even, he's so established at Arkansas now, but even when he was first getting to Arkansas, he had won at every level, been a winning junior college coach, mid-major coach, Division II national title. What he did at Nebraska was just, it's one of the great program turnarounds that I think we've seen in college baseball in the last 40 years. And so, he's very bright, very intense, but it's not an intensity that, kind of makes the players play anxious. It's an intensity that just the program operates with, I think, a very appropriate sense of urgency. Coaches want to coach for him. He's a guy that lets his coaches coach. And I think, Arkansas has now become an absolute monster where players want to play there. Coaches want to coach there. You think about the player dev center. You think about the fan base. And I just think right now you all are a program in tremendous momentum. And again, I think DVH is going to win a national championship. It's just a matter of when.
Mike, we watched everything unfold. Arkansas goes 3-0. The SEC had a lot of success in Arlington. How much should we be pumping the brakes, though, about what this past weekend means for the season ahead?
Well, I guess my answer would be yes, you should be pumping the brakes, and no, you shouldn't. Because I would say this, no, you shouldn't be pumping the brakes because you have an awesome team. And you didn't even play great this weekend. Robert Moore and Christian Franklin combined for 4 hits. Caden Wallace, I think, is a future star player. He didn't have a good weekend. Goodhart didn't even play. And I think the one question mark was the pitching. And I tweeted this last night. The Arkansas pitchers, and I know Ole Miss and Mississippi State's pitchers were excellent too, but Arkansas's pitchers had a 14.33 K per 9 against 3 really talented top of the Big 12 teams. So I don't think you should pump the brakes because I think your team is really, really stinking good. But here's why I think you should pump the brakes. I think the SEC West is going to be, fairly nightmarish this year. I think there's going to be 6 regional teams that come out of there, and so there are going to be some dark moments on this ride, I'm sure.
That leads me to my next question, was about the SEC West. I'll change the question a little bit. What's going to be more difficult, not just getting to a regional, but hosting a super regional out of the SEC West? I don't know how deep the committee will go, but this looks like a real battle setting up with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Arkansas. Somebody's going to be left standing when the music stops and they pull the chairs out and not going to be able to host in the super regional round and be a really good team out of the West.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair point. I think if you're, the SEC will have several advantages. You guys are playing as normal a schedule as anybody put out there. So I think that, that will be helpful. I could see a formula right now where there is not a top 8 seed out of the Pac-12. The ACC and the Big 12 kind of linger there. I would be really surprised if there's one of the Big 10. So that helps. I think I think the class of the SEC West is you all, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. So if you can be in the top 2 of those teams, I think certainly you'd be a top 8 seed. I like Arkansas or LSU's team, but I don't think they're quite in the class of the 3 teams I just mentioned. I think Alabama and Auburn are going to be regional teams. I am very concerned about A&M so far, but I think if you can be in the top 2 in the West, which that's easy to say, that's going to be hard to do. but I think certainly that feels like a top 8 seed.
Mike Rooney with us, D1 Baseball on the Morning Rush. Mike, we were kicking this around earlier. How does college baseball need to continue to grow and improve? It seems like at times it's kind of a regional sport. You mentioned a bunch of dominant SEC teams. How does this sport need to continue to grow across the country?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think it's, like a lot of things in life, there's not one answer. I think the things that are top of mind for me is I really like this idea out there called 32 hosts, where everything would be a 3-game series to Omaha. That way you have 32 schools that get to host the postseason and get their schools excited. I think the new model, which you guys are probably familiar with, which is slide the season back 4 weeks. That 4 weeks feels maybe a little extreme to me, but maybe we do 2 or 3 weeks. That's a proposal that's really important for the Big 12 and the Big 10, who deal with some colder weather. And, I just think right now, any of the things we want to pass in college baseball, more scholarships, pay the volunteer coach, the Big 12, which is shocking because it's such a good baseball league, but the Big 12 and the Big 10 immediately beat them down. They immediately kill those proposals. And so, I think the thing I like the most about the new model is it really it's just like giving a big Christmas present to the Big 10 and the Big 12. So maybe we can start to get them to embrace the sport. But I think in the meantime, we just keep doing what we're doing. I know for me, the stuff I do at ESPN, that, ESPN keeps getting more and more excited about college baseball. I love the enthusiasm and passion I see from our company. And so, that's exciting. I think if we continue to build in that realm and our postseason continues to grow in popularity, I think nothing but good things can happen.
And yeah, it helps when you have like you, Ben McDonald, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson. I mean, you guys have a number of different coworkers that you work with that kind of re-energizes and keeps up the sport. And you brought up something interesting with just the Big 12 schools and the Big 10 kind of going through cold and stuff. I also wonder, Arkansas is one of like the 20-something schools, Mike, that is financially stable in both football, basketball, and baseball. How much of that aspect does it have to do with it? Would a lot of these schools, I don't know what their percentage is, not making money on baseball as we close you out here?
Yeah, I'd say, not making money is part of it for sure. But I think, ADs have a lot of things they spend money on that don't have return on investment. It's just, are they excited? And I think for the cold weather schools that typically don't make money in baseball, if we can reduce their travel costs a little bit in the beginning of the year, I think that's helpful. But, I think the cold weather ADs, baseball is a little bit of a roadshow for them. And, they don't get to really see their team play on their home campus. And that's why I'm so passionate about the 32 host idea. The more ADs will spend money, for things that don't always return money, but, they've got to be excited about it. They've got to be able to see it and smell it and hear it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why hosting a regional can be a game changer in that regard.
Mike Rooney, D1 Baseball and ESPN, kind enough to give us some time this morning. Mike, we really appreciate it, man. And hopefully for all the fans listening right now, your prediction about the Razorbacks being national champions comes true.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff for Mike. You can read his stuff on D1 Baseball. You can also watch him on ESPN. Does some good work for both of those networks.
And again, D1 rankings just out. Arkansas moved to number 2 in that poll that we talked about just before we had Mike on. So Ole Miss 1, Arkansas 2 right now in the latest rankings. So
pretty high up there when it comes to that. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by Razorback Camper Sales. Spring camping season is almost here, and whether it's travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups, they have it all. You'll have access to the best parts and service department in the state. It's the oldest family-owned RV dealer in Arkansas. They've been in business for over 50 years. The Bowden RV Show is coming up this weekend, so stop by and see them in Hot Springs. That is Razorback Camper Sales. Some basketball stuff for you this morning. We mentioned rankings, the D1 baseball rankings that Tommy just referred to. Basketball-wise, you've moved all the way up to number 20 in both the coaches and AP poll for men's basketball, and then 16 in the AP poll for women's basketball. Now, we said during the Kentucky-Missouri week, as we bring in Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, back into the fold, that might have been the biggest week for Arkansas basketball, maybe since the Texas-Oklahoma week. I think this could trump that if you beat a top 10 opponent, number 6 in the country, in Alabama at home, and then, while not in the top 25, a quadrant 1 opponent at home with LSU to really cement that you're in the top ranks of the SEC basketball standings.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't think it hurts them either way, though. I mean, this is a game that it's kind of a you want to hold court, home court. You want to win in Bud Walton. That's important, and you want to get that that plum win. But it's you're in the rankings. I don't think you fall out by losing to a top 10 team. So, but it's this is a chance to to just keep the ascent, keep rising. And that's the important thing to do. When you have momentum, don't give it up.
And that Oklahoma-Texas, those 2 games that week were followed by, what, a 2-14 run in SEC
yeah, I mean,
play?
They were early. Yeah, they were really early in the season. So, I was at both of those games, and there's never been a time when Bud Walton was worth more points. It was incredible, the atmosphere. It felt like there were 40,000 people, and they were all right on top of you. And the momentum for those 2 games. In fact, I can remember there was great consternation that John Pelfrey didn't get a 20-year contract after those 2 games.
Kentucky was going to steal him the next day, if I remember.
Yeah, he was going back to Big Blue Nation, and you better lock him up. And that's the first time I heard Jeff Long say, "Will you wait till the end of the season to reward coaches?" And that was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, we know JW and London's thoughts on Alabama.
Unless someday you can beat Alabama, you might as well just be kissing your sister.
Now, he was talking about Alabama football at the time, but I feel like that's really relevant as you take on the Crimson Tide, the number 1 team in the SEC, on Wednesday night. Now,
it's just exciting to have a game that's this relevant nationally and this big for your program and your school. It's just fun to be in the middle of the spotlight for a little while.
First top 20 matchup you've had in Bud Walton Arena since 1998. It's pretty staggering to think about, but that's where you are right now.
Hard to believe it's been that long.
Now, we brought up the Oklahoma game, and that kind of leads me into the next conversation. An OU wide receiver, Spencer Jones, got into a little ball altercation, and I know Clay Henry has been chomping at the bit to jump in on this. Clay, do you want me to roll through the guys that have been listed? Is that what you wanted me to do?
Well, it doesn't matter. I've got my own little list, and if you want, I've got little notes on the guys that you've mentioned if you want to do that. But first of all, let me give you my guy.
What do you want to do, Clay?
Yeah, let me give you the 2 guys that I'd want on my right and left.
Okay, go ahead. And
this would be from their college days. And I would go in any place as long as somebody doesn't have guns. I mean, but if it's just a fair fight, I would be standing in the middle and nobody would ever touch me. I'd have Lloyd Phillips on my left and Alvin Robertson on my right. And they were mean, nasty, and ill-tempered. And nobody ever touched Alvin Robertson in the dorm. I mean, not the football players. He had the quickest hand. He was a Golden Glove boxer, first of all. And he was looking for a fight the whole time. And he played basketball mad, if you remember. He was like a scorpion. I mean, it was so quick. And he could hit you about 4 times before you knew what had happened. And then Lloyd Phillips just played football in a rage, and he got in a fight every day in practice. A lot of times it was with his brother, Terry Don. And now you want to have a real fight is somebody else mess with either one of them, and then you got both the Phillips boys fighting. So those are the 2 guys that I would have with me. And some of these others, that I can see Sasha Lancaster. I can see him. I mean, he just a little crazy. That's part of what goes into this this list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to have a little bit of craziness. But then I would say I'd want back from the 60s, the 64 team, everybody there, all those guys said the guy they wanted with them was Glenn Ray Hines. And not that he was going to fight anybody, but he was so big that nobody even dared fight those guys. It's like, well, look at him. He's 6'7", and there was nobody that tall, down at Maxine's. I mean, that's the place, right?
Right.
From the 60s. And I know that's not the place that you
or the Deluxe
grew up. Yeah, the Deluxe.
Deluxe or Maxine's, one of the two.
So then a couple of others that I would say. Then we'll go through your list. Bruce Maxwell, who played fullback, in the late 60s. I mean, he was a biker guy.
Okay.
I mean, literally was. Roosevelt Wallace played for Nolan Richardson. That was a guy you didn't want to mess with. So, some of the players I polled last night said Guy Parker was around during the bar. Didn't want to mess with him. So that's my go-to guys that I would say. Yeah, if I'm going to go on a rumble, I'd want these guys.
Okay. We had someone text in a little earlier talking about Steve Heim, who's one of our friends up here. Dr. Heim apparently was a meaty bobini back in the day, heavily intense. We've gotten Clay, I just want you to just say yes or no on these because there's about 50 of them. Sam Alajabutu.
Yeah, he's little. I don't know. I mean, he might not. He's tough, but he's a linebacker. Any linebacker, yes.
Okay. Billy Ray Smith Sr., not Jr.
Yeah, he was a brawler.
Okay. Dan Hampton.
He's a nice guy off the floor. I wouldn't. Yeah, football field. Yeah, not in a bar.
What about Tyler Wilson? Because he can take a hit. He can take a hit. He'll at least get that pretty face out there, and I don't know what's going to happen after that.
Not quarterbacks.
Somebody punch him, he'd be over in the corner. No, I don't want him.
Quarterbacks aren't on this list.
Now, Darren's been in a bar altercation before. What about Darren McFadden, Clay?
He's quick and strong and fast, but he to me, he's a nice guy.
Okay. Darrell Walker.
Nice guy.
Nice guy. Marshall.
I mean, if I say nice guy, not the one
you're looking
he's
for.
Not
a mean
Lloyd
streak.
Phillips
Yeah.
or Bruce Maxwell or an Alvin Robertson. Say it again.
You want a mean streak, is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Quick tempered.
Yeah.
Quick tempered. Batman Carroll.
Nope.
Jerry Franklin.
Probably not. Too nice.
Dan Skipper.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. I mean, he'd have the reach just to go. If you were in trouble, you'd see this right hand come out, and it'd just keep coming. And that'd be, he'd save you. Yep.
Okay. And I'm supposed to ask you about Steve Corte, too.
Steve Court.
Steve Court.
He would be the strongest, biggest guy in the bar.
Okay.
He's a nice guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Not looking for nice guys,
yeah,
so are we?
Looking for mean guys.
All right, more on this coming up. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Hey, make 2021 the year you really enjoy the start and end of your days with a hot spring spa from Burton's. 28 different models to choose from, starting at $28.95. You can also check out the complete endless pool fitness systems they have there as well. They're in Springdale and in Fort Smith, always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. They are your source for backyard fun.
Let's hear what Eric Musselman had to say about this Alabama game on the other side of the morning rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
RV Show pricing is arriving early at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV wants to invite you to skip the lines and the crowds this year and shop the industry's best brands at Northwest Arkansas's premier RV dealer. And with a lifetime warranty, RV storage, and a mobile service shuttle, owning a new RV has never been easier. RV Show pricing beginning now at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
At any of the Clay Maxey companies, it's just an easy, customer-centered experience. We wanted to make it a one-stop shop, so we added Kawasaki and Can-Am and Hustler and Worldline. It's really been a nice add for us. We provide full service. We're doing pickup and delivery. We were able to add the Vexus line, which is a premier bass boat line. We want to make it easy. We want you to visit us at any of the Clay Maxey companies, Clay Maxey Ford and Harrison, Berryville, Motorsports, Marine, or Clay Maxey NWA.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Ask Shelter Agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday. River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
This is Mike Hatchley with Hatchley Air. Did you know we've been serving customers like you since 1958? For our 63rd birthday, Carrier gave us a free furnace. We decided to pay it forward by giving the furnace away along with a brand new high-efficiency air conditioner. For your chance to win, go to AtchleyAir.com. One lucky homeowner will win a high-efficiency system valued at nearly $9,000, and there's no cost to you. Don't wait to enter. The drawing will be held on February the 25th.
AtchleyAir.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Moody, open three, Moses, and he drained another one. Moody's feeling it right now. 12 points for Moses. Arms back up by 8.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Let's talk about what Eric Mossman had to say about this upcoming Alabama game and also give you an update on our friend Harry Keene coming up in just a sec.
It'll feel like spring a little bit today for a lot of us, but spring and summer weather will be here before you know it. So it's not too early to start planning for who's going to take care of your yard and your landscaping this year. You need to call the grounds guys. They take care of yards and landscaping all over Northwest Arkansas and the Fort Smith area. They're the do-it-all guys. Mowing, landscaping. They'll take care of all the cleanup with all the sticks and leaves that are still in the yard. And, boy, it's a mess after the snow last week. Plus, they do weed and feed continued maintenance to make your yard look great. If you call them right now, tell them you heard it here on the Morning Rush, get 50% off your first 6-step weed and feed application. So save half off right now when you call the grounds guys. Call them at 303-GUYS. That's 479-303-GUYS, or log on to groundsguys.com.
Alabama's had, an outstanding year. When we played them the first time, their offense was like a Lamborghini and ours was like a Prius. The elephant in the room from game one, 90, 18, and 15. They made 15 threes. They scored 90 points, and we had 18 turnovers. So we obviously have to play a lot better basketball than we did in Tuscaloosa. But I think from being ranked, 2 weeks in a row, moving up in the rankings, just about how long it's been, kind of puts things in perspective for probably our staff a little bit as well as the players. And
are we putting too much emphasis on this Bama game, or is it just right?
Nope, probably too much. But we've been so starved for a game of this magnitude, this importance for 23 years, or whatever. So I get why the appetite's there, Clay, but this isn't going to make or break your season. So I think there's too much emphasis that like everything's hanging in the balance on this game, and it's not. I think
I think the way to look at it is that it's a great opportunity.
Right.
And I've heard Eric Musselman say that, and it's a chance to do something really special. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. It's not the tournament where you have to go home. But it's for Arkansas fans, it's a reminder of where we've been, because it's been a long time. And it's also, it's a little taste of sweetness, a little dessert for some hard, tough seasons. And also, just remember, we didn't get to finish last season, so there's hope that there's going to be more of these type games maybe this year. March Madness looks real, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah, March Madness is definitely on the horizon for this Arkansas basketball team. You brought up an important point earlier, Clay, that everyone just says Indianapolis, but it's within, a 60-mile circumference? It's relatively close. It's like Bankers Life Fieldhouse. They'll play the national championship in the Final Four in Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts play. They'll play in Hinkle
Field.
Field.
It was a 50-mile radius. But it's a big area there.
It's when the close. And I know a lot of Arkansas fans are excited. I don't know the amount with only 25% capacity that would make their way up to, we'll just call it Indiana.
Any of the venues.
Any of the venues, but we'll just have to wait and see. There is a palpable excitement for sure when it comes to this basketball team.
Hey, we're brought to you by Clean Cooking. We have really fell in love with Clean Cooking here on the Morning Rush. Their fuel meals are a great way to get started on a weight loss journey, great way to do meal prep, because none of us have time to go to the store, buy all the right ingredients, then cook it right, put it in containers, freeze it, take it to work. That's why Clean Cooking is so easy. Veteran owner Stuart Rowland started it in 2016. Now he's helping thousands of people every year lose weight and eat healthier throughout the week. They have 16 different meals plus some snacks, some breakfast items, some meats you can choose from, and you can find them in Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Van Buren, Bentonville, and in Greenwood. Siloam Springs are headed your way next month. So, hey, don't wait. Make 2021 the year that you remember, the one that you find a way, an easy way, to eat healthy all week long. It's with Clean Cooking, and they make it easy and affordable. Clean Cooking, eating healthy does not have to be punishment.
And they have their new $100 meal plan this week and this week only, so make sure you ask about that. It's a great value.
Yeah. Hey, earlier in the week, I guess, or end of last week, rather, I'm losing track of my days here, Clay. We gave an update on Harry King, who had unfortunately fell and broke a hip on the ice, and I know he's back home. I know you wanted to mention that he's doing well, all things considered.
Yep, he touched base with him last night, and he was actually in an ambulance on his way home. He's like, and you know that frustrated him to be in an ambulance twice. First time he'd ever been in an ambulance last week. He fell, broke his hip in 2 places, and then they fixed that Saturday with a plate and 2 screws. He's already, in the rehab. He apparently walked 100 feet twice yesterday on the walker, and that got him a ticket home. So got 6 weeks on the walker. So I told him I was practicing my golf, and he would be behind when he finally was able to play again.
Had to, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, he's just like, just bring it on, bring it on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the great smack talker.
Oh,
he
is.
And if you don't smack talk him, he'd be disappointed. But I love him like a brother, and I'm glad he's doing better.
Yeah, that is good news for Harry, who what did he retire last year?
Well, he retired. He really retired about 4 or 5 years ago, but he'd been doing stuff just kind of on the side for Hogs Illustrated until this last summer. But so you could probably hear him on the radio a little bit, and he was writing a regular column for us. And then just before football season, he's like, I don't think I want to work on Sundays anymore. So, yeah, he's doing great. His only real problem is that he can't walk his dog 6 times a day like he's been doing.
But he'll make sure it gets done.
No, he will.
Somehow, some way. All right, coming up in the program, we'll wrap up today's show. Also want to touch on 41 years ago today, the legendary Bobby Knight throwing his chair across the floor between Indiana and Purdue. That game, we'll discuss that a little more coming up. And again, we might touch back into the bar fight conversation because it seems the one that's popping off the most on a Toyota Tuesday here on the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Pastor Heath from Woodland. I know some of these ads make you glad, but most probably make you mad. The reason is people believe the lie that heals is better than the truth that hurts. Our purpose at Woodland is to risk the hurt by exposing the lies so you can be wise unto salvation. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, woodlandpeople.church. There you can download our app and listen to our podcast. That's woodlandpeople.church.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
And Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Hey, grounds guys.
Hey, what?
How'd you like to mow my lawn?
You betcha. If you want your lawn professionally maintained, the Grounds Guys is your one-stop shop. The Grounds Guys will mow, trim, edge, blow away all the debris off your sidewalks and driveway, and keep your lawn the envy of the neighborhood all year long. Call 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-GUYS. Or go to groundsguys.com for all your lawn care needs in Northwest Arkansas and the Fort Smith area. The Grounds Guys. Leave the yard work to us.
Your locally owned own TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery for both lunch and dinner, 7 days a week. TGI Fridays is taking your safety seriously, following every guideline. Enjoy Fridays favorites like appetizers, burgers, sandwiches, salads, all the great Fridays signature entrees, kids meals, and great desserts. TGI Fridays, now open for dine-in, curbside to go, and delivery. Call 479-484-0906. That's 484-0906. Or order online at Fridays.com. Your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers and Fort Smith.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
What's new at the Golf Nut? Paying G425 woods, hybrids, and irons, along with the new Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls. Keep your game sharp on the TrackMan and Foresight indoor simulation base. Make sure you call ahead for an appointment. The Golf Nut has a great selection of shoes, apparel, and accessories in stock. Everything you need to complete your game. As always, don't forget to check Facebook for daily specials. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
Are you concerned about possible COVID exposure for you or your employees? Fort Smith has a new option for PCR COVID testing that is fast and accurate. Natural State Laboratories out of Little Rock has opened a PCR COVID drive-thru location in Fort Smith at Community Bible Church. PCR testing is the most sensitive, accurate test available, and results are available the next day. No appointment is necessary. Convenient COVID PCR drive-thru testing in Fort Smith is open 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at Community Bible Church, located at 9201 Dallas Street.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, and I want to help you get a great deal on a great car. So I'm making it easy with prices up to $3,113 below retail on the best selection of Rath road-ready vehicles we've had in months. These are late-model, low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs that have been hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. You just can't buy a better pre-owned vehicle. And right now, you can save with prices up to $3,113 below retail. If you're waiting on your tax refund, my TaxMax program can help with that by getting you access to your money now. Worried about your credit? Don't be. My For the People credit approval process can get you approved and driving your nicer, newer car today. If you're not in the market right now, let us take care of the car you have in our Meineke Car Care Center, the home of half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Don't wait. Get the nicer, newer car you want today and save up to $3,113 at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Kentucky will play it out. Shepard looked to the bench. He'll drive, and it's taken away by Arkansas.
McDaniel, the #1 man in steals in the SEC, #2 in the nation, picked it off.
Follow the show on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
We'll wrap up the show coming up. I do want to touch on the Bobby Knight story, and Clay's got a little innuendo/joke that he wants to share with you guys.
Was it 40th anniversary of the chair throwing? Is that what you said?
So it was in 85, so 41.
41 years. Mm-hmm. All right, 41 years ago. Hey, divorce is never an easy time on any family, and many times the problems come after the divorce is long over, and most common problem is with custody and visitation issues with your kids. Hey, if you're dealing with these high conflict issues and you need an attorney that handles these specific cases, call the Kevin Hickey Law Partners for immediate assistance with your situation. Kevin Hickey Law Partners can handle high conflict custody cases. They do it all over Arkansas as well as other states, so they can help you. This is something they do day in and day out. The Kevin Hickey Law Partners. Call Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey, 479-434-2414 in the River Valley, or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. That's the Kevin Hickey Law Partners, online, artriallawyers.com.
So we shared with you all this morning Jalen Tate's thoughts, Eric Musselman thoughts on the Alabama game this weekend. And I know many of you are excited about this game. First top 20 matchup in Bud Walton Arena since 1998. But as we approach this matchup, we get closer and closer, I would like to remind all of our listeners, it's not the end of the world if Arkansas loses the game. I know that's hard to grasp in the midst of a 7th game SEC winning streak, but that's what I'll say there. The TCU game that you did win last night was spectacular. You moved all the way up to number 2 in D1 and the NCAA baseball rankings, which is awesome. You got 3 top 10 wins, 3rd Texas Tech, 9 Texas, and number 10 TCU. So baseball team really showing out early. Got a chance to talk with Mike Rooney, who you'll hear in the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. She shared his thoughts on this Arkansas baseball team and Dave Van Horn. We also touched on the Razorback that you wanted to be in a brawl with that would have your back. Clay, you said Lloyd Phillips, and I'm forgetting the other guy.
Alvin Robertson,
Alvin
basketball
Robertson.
player. Yeah.
Okay, those were Clay's two. Who did you decide on as yours?
Well, Bruce Stanton mentioned a great one and kind of an obscure name that some people may not remember, but Shannon Wright, who was from Fort Smith, and I knew as a kid, everybody just idolized him as a kid growing up. He's a Southside product, linebacker there. He was the prototypical linebacker, built like an outhouse. We'll just clean that one up, and then just enough of a wild side that he was who you want. So he would be one that you'd bring in. You'd want on your side.
I had thought
just to go off the board a little bit.
Yeah, I thought of a couple good ones. We had a bunch of listeners text in, but your thoughts, your opinions about Kiero Small, the face mask that he used to break.
Yeah.
And I remember watching him back in the day. And is he still at Michigan, or did he get a new job?
Yeah, I think that's where he's at. He's strength coach there.
That's what I thought, but I think Kiero Small might be up there for me as my guy. There's the Tony Buas, the Jake Beckett's, the Darren McFadden's. Pick a Razorback that's tough back in the day. There's plenty of them to pick, but Kiero might be up there for me.
Yeah, and you think about Jake Beckett. He went through Army Ranger School. You'd kind of like to have that guy rolling with you, no question.
No, you're exactly right. So all this you'll hear in the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast, and again, Mike Rooney of D1 Baseball is on it. It's on the Hit That Line podcast network. If you hadn't had a chance to subscribe, whether on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you do that. All you got to do is type in Hit That Line. It's brought to you by the Breeden RV Center, family-owned and operated, a no-pressure, laid-back atmosphere. So we mentioned 41 years ago today, Bobby Knight and the infamous chair throw.
Fred Jasper's now chasing Bobby Knight back to his chair.
And
he's got him right there. There's the tee.
Technical against the bench and against Bob Knight. Steve Reed, an excellent free throw shooter, will have the honors shooting the technicals.
Looky here. Bobby Knight just threw his chair clear across the free throw lane.
And I think Fred
Unbelievable. He picked up another tee.
Now
there's a surprise. He picked up another tee.
Yeah,
his third one. He
they
had to
could
get
only
three
give
back.
him. Yeah,
You had to get 3 back then to be ejected, but the difference in Clay, you can elaborate on this better. If you did that today, if you acted that way today, the school president or chancellor would suspend you for I don't know how many games it would be for behaving that way. But Bobby Knight never feared the school administration suspending him. It was just another day at the office for Bob Knight there.
Yeah, he told the president what to do. He didn't. It wasn't the other way around. And basically, the fans at Indiana, that's the way they wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they didn't anymore.
Yeah, he kind of left kicking and screaming though, didn't he?
Right.
Yeah. So I got a Bobby Knight story. So 1982, Oral Roberts, Mr. Roberts, President Roberts fired Ken Hayes.
Prayer Tower. Oral
Yeah,
Roberts.
8 days before Christmas, which was just all right. You got a Christian school. You got Christmas coming up, and they fired him on his daughter's birthday.
Oh, brutal.
And so my assignment from Bill Connors was to call college basketball coaches in our region and around the country. And he says, call Bobby Knight. I was like, well, Mr. Connors, Bobby Knight's not going to take my call. He says, well, he's one of my best friends. He'll know you work for him if you identify yourself properly. Call his secretary, and he will call you back. He called me back in like 5 to 10 minutes. And he says, listen, I don't know you, but you work for Bill Connors, and let me at that blankety-blank president at Oral Roberts. And I said, it is Oral Roberts. And he goes, oh, I know the blankety-blank. And, of course, those words didn't make it in my story, but it was a very salty, colorful interview. And after about 10 minutes, he goes, Mr. Clay? And he got my names backwards. And I said, yes, sir. He goes, do you have enough? I said, I got plenty.
Yeah. Can you print any of it?
Well, I cleaned it up. It was very much critical of President Roberts. And you know what? They didn't care at Oral Roberts. They didn't care. They were going to fire him, and they didn't care. They knew it was going to be. The irony was they were about to get into what the Mid-Continent Conference, which is what they were in, and they were going to win a bunch of games. And he did not want Oral Roberts to go on a 10-game winning streak after they'd lost to everybody in the region already, including Oklahoma City University, I think. So that's why they fired him just before Christmas. But it's still one of the most gutless move by a college president.
So that's one of the many stories that you've heard from Clay Henry over the years, whether you listened to Clay when he was doing the show with Chuck, with Bo. Who else have you done radio with, Clay? Who am I missing? Did you do it with Grant ever? No, Mike did.
No, never have. I guess, have to list you in my resume or on it, and John Neighbors. Yep.
Okay. So one of the projects that I've been doing as of late, and we heard Ryan in Hot Springs touching on earlier, got a chance to talk with Mike Irwin, and Mike Irwin was really good and really insightful with his interview. Nikki Chavanel came on of Rivals this past week, who you can always hear on Halftime on Tuesdays. Clay has offered his services to do Trusting the Process. Now, Clay, I'm going to ask you, is there a specific day where you would like to do it this week, that you have less time?
What's the weather forecast?
Yeah,
it kind of looks like May.
So you just want to push it back a little bit?
Well, when is May?
May is what are we in?
Well, we're in February.
February?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it.
What are we in?
Let's do July.
July?
Yeah.
Okay. Just keep kicking the can down the road?
It'd be a great thing to do, like 3 weeks into football season.
3 weeks into football season. I feel like you're going to be busy 3 weeks. Clay, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I mean, I've already had I've already had other media members reach out and legitimately ask if they could come on, which I don't know if that's surprising.
Well, you should interview them.
Okay. You said you wanted. I'm in flux right now.
I would really. Let's get this done in 2021. Let's don't let 2021 expire, and it's not something we'll look back on 2021 like a missed opportunity. Yeah. So sometime in December, let's make sure we did it. Okay,
Clay, you don't want this to be one of your big regrets in your career.
No,
that you missed this opportunity.
Do not, let's get it done before Christmas. Yeah. I think we should do that.
I plan on doing it.
At least by New Year's.
Yeah, I plan on doing it through.
I don't do things between Christmas and New Year's, so maybe this is a 2022 project.
2022. Okay, we can.
You're assuming there's a second season.
Yeah.
Just pick a day. I mean, my schedule. It's pretty loose.
Yeah.
It's like, I have nap time about 2, so that we don't want to do it then. But just pick a time. It's okay.
Okay. I want to say 3:00. On Wednesday?
Yeah, you're not going to get a long nap then.
How long is your nap, Clay?
It's usually about 3 hours.
Is it actually 3 hours?
No, just pick a time. It's okay. I do not take naps.
Okay.
I thought that was the whole point of retirement, is so you could take naps.
What, you think I'm in retirement?
Well, you're getting close.
Yeah. So.
You can see it from where you're at.
I can see it from here.
You've moved to the river, so I mean, you're preparing for retirement.
So
you need to prepare
this is
for naps.
Exactly what I don't want people to think. I get up every day and I work. I'm the publisher of a magazine, so I do it from a pretty place,
and we're all jealous.
Well, you'll hear that and much more on.
Just pick a time, Ty.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll do it on Wednesday. I'm excited. My dad's excited. I've had several Arkansas media members and Morning Rush listeners that have reached out and are excited about this.
Can I hear all my stories one more time?
I just hope you get animated during the interview. I just animated needs to be the word that comes out of it.
I just need to just start showing up here drunk so I don't get animated.
So you don't get animated?
Yeah, because I'm a sleepy, very chill.
It tones you down?
Drunkard. So anyone that sees me from about 11 o'clock on Friday to Saturday night till whatever, 2 a.m. can attest to that. Clay, you wanted to share something before we go here on a Toyota Tuesday. What does Omaha mean? I was trying to look up the origin.
Oh.
Will you remind us what that means again?
Ole Miss at home again.
O-M-A. Yeah, you're right.
They're number one. They've had some great regular seasons, but they do not go to Omaha. They do not know what an Omaha steak tastes like. They just don't.
They
Their
don't
fans,
know what the Drover is then. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not something Mississippi State fans have, they're the ones that like to sing that. Oh, Ole Miss at home again.
So
they serenade them.
You're telling me they've been to Omaha as many times as they've been to the SEC championship game in football.
You got it right.
All right, just checking the math. Make sure the book's balanced here.
Oh, man, yeah. I got a colorful text from Phil Elson when they showed up in their powder blue this weekend. All right, good Tuesday show. We'll talk tomorrow. See y'all then.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix